Well, this Winston 500 today will be 500 miles, 188 laps. There's the $2.5 million purse we're talking about. The pit window, that is for fuel. That could fluctuate among some of the teams. You won't see tires becoming that much of a factor. And the event record, the recently retired Ernie Irvan, what a great memory that one was, over 176 miles per hour. We take a look at our Walmart EverStart starting grid, and Front Row Joe, for the third time in 1999, will lead him down to the charge. Alongside him, Ricky Rudd, trying to keep a 16-year streak intact. He needs to win one. Teammate from Andy Petrie Racing in row 2, Kenny Wallace has never won, and it has been 8 years since Ken Schrader has visited Victory Lane. How about an impressive rookie inside row 3, Tony Stewart, and alongside him a 2-time winner at Talladega in Sterling Marlin. Back in row 4, the guy was fastest in happy hour yesterday afternoon, the Budweiser Chevy, Wally Dallenbach, and Texan Terry Labonte in the Kellogg Chevy. And in row 5, the first of our No Bull 5 contenders, Mark Martin, starts inside, and alongside him, looking for win number 50 in his career, Rusty Wallace.
On inside of row 6 is Bobby Labonte. Finished second in Charlotte just Monday afternoon. Would like to get a victory here today. Michael Waltrip told me this morning, I can win this race. Inside of row 7, Ward Burton going for the No Bull $1 million bonus, and Jeff Gordon trying to make it 3 in a row.
And in row number 8, we have 2 of those No Bull drivers, Jeremy Mayfield and Jeff Burton, want to win $1 million. And in row 9 is Dale Jarrett trying to pad his points lead, and Kevin LePage going for $1 million as well.
As you take a look at the rest of our starting grid, some surprises in Bud Pole qualifying on Friday to set the top 25. And we still have not shown you either of the Richard Childress racing cars because both Dale Earnhardt Sr. and Mike Skinner had problems. There's Mike Skinner finally back in 26th starting spot. They both had engine problems. Earnhardt will start 27th today, far back in the field.
And we see Derek Cope in the 41 car, the first time in that car for him this season.
Kyle Petty starting back in row 16.
Andy Hillenberg making his first Winston Cup start of the year in Joe Fox Racing Machine. Steve Park awfully good at happy hour. Look for the Pennzoil car to come quickly. 43 cars will start today. There is Awesome Bill Elliott taking a provisional starting spot in the McDonald's Ford.
There are the other provisional starters, Brett Ledine, Buckshot Jones in the 30 car today. Ed Berry.
43 cars will start. There were 47 cars here attempting to qualify. Among those who missed the field, Darrell Waltrip, Robert Presley, Bobby Gerhart, the ARCA ace, and Hut Strickland out of Calera, Alabama. We'll be riding along with 10 different drivers today with in-car cameras. Benny?
Buckshot Jones starts 42nd, the Jimmy Dean Sausage onboard camera. Bill Elliott starts in 38th, the McDonald's onboard camera. Mike Skinner up in the 26th position, Lowe's Home Improvement Warehouse onboard camera. Dale Jarrett, as he tries to, as Ned said, pad to that points lead. He starts 17th in the Ford Quality Care on board. Jeff Burton, the Coca-Cola on board. He will start 16th as he goes after that $1 million. The Circuit City onboard camera. This is Bobby Labonte. Starts in 11th. Rusty Wallace, a Miller Lite onboard camera. He will start 10th this afternoon. Mark Martin, the best qualifier of the No Bull Million contenders in 9th spot. Wally Dallenbach to Budweiser Chevrolet in 7th. And our pole sitter, Front Row Joe, the Bell South Chevrolet, Joe Nemechek.
And guys, we have a special treat in store for our fans today. We have what we call a NASCAR Winston Cup Spotlight. We're going to ride along and listen today to Dale Jarrett, his crew chief, 35-year-old Todd Parrott on top of the machine, of course, and Bob Jeffrey, the spotter, up on top of the main grandstands. We're going to eavesdrop today as Dale Jarrett tries to hang on, not only win at Talladega, but also hold on to the Winston Cup points lead. Our NASCAR Winston Cup Spotlight.
So DJ, we see him back there weaving back and forth, just trying to flex the tires, flex the sidewalls just a little bit so when you get down to turn 1 or turn 3, actually at 195 miles per hour, that the sidewalls already flexed a little bit and the car will be consistent as it enters that corner.
And guys, Talladega has made history many times in NASCAR, but today, the largest crowd to see a sporting event in Alabama state history. Great tradition here in college football, but here we are told over 170,000 strong have jammed their way in to watch America's fastest growing spectator sport. There's the crowd on their feet waiting for that Front Row Joe alongside Ricky Rudd to bring him down to the start and finish line for the green flag.
All right, folks, I'm cinching my seatbelt. I probably advise that you do the same thing because this thing is going to get hairy in just a few seconds. This pace car, the lights are off. He's going to turn left, and in just about 5 or 6 seconds, the flagman is going to turn this field loose.
Jimmy Howell about ready to wave the green flag. $2.5 million. That's the purse today. 5 guys going for $1 million. 5 fans hoping to become instant millionaires. Dale Jarrett hoping to finish today and hang on to that points lead and become a second-generation NASCAR Winston Cup champion. It's all coming to bear in the next 2.5 hours from Talladega Superspeedway. Up in single file. He has taken the lead in front of Joe Nemechek.
It takes a while to get these restrictor plate engines wound up. In fact, it takes about 2 laps, but they are getting up to speed now. And when they come back for the start-finish line the next time, they will be running close to 200 miles an hour.
As a matter of fact, that first time the cars averaged 165 miles per hour. The next time, as Ned said, it'll be somewhere around 192, 193 miles per hour.
Another shot down that back straightaway. That's why they jam in here to Talladega, to see him 3 wide, now 4 wide, down on the bottom of the racetrack. Mike Skinner takes a peek.
There's Earnhardt already moving up there. And look there, he just drives up in the middle. Most of the time you don't want to get in the middle. He just drove right up straight up through there, no problem.
Wow, that is some more stuff.
And look at Earnhardt go. We see the 31 car. Mike Skinner gets on the inside of Jarrett, puts him back a couple more spots. Earnhardt still in the middle of the racetrack, going somewhere.
Well, Jarrett will be in the middle between 2 lines of crashing cars to go back. Not the case right now for Earnhardt now.
No, he's just driving right on up through there, keeping his foot to the floorboard. And well, sometimes you try to stay out of that position because it can be dangerous in there, but he don't mind.
Now he'll slide in and fall in behind the Michael Waltrip Phillips Chevrolet right in front of Jeff Gordon.
And here Gordon goes up on the outside of Earnhardt. Once again, trying to put Earnhardt in the middle, but does Jeff have any drafting help on that outside line? Michael Waltrip right behind Rusty Wallace. There we see Earnhardt. Dale Earnhardt that time was running in 12th position from his 27th starting spot.
Wow, from 27th to 12th in 3 laps. And look at him coming. The Intimidator on the move at Talladega. 8 times he has gone to victory lane, including this past April from 17th starting spot. Closing in on his good buddy, Rusty Wallace, just a couple of feet back from the Miller Lite Ford.
Now we see they've got Tony Stewart in the middle as Mark Martin goes on the inside. That's the 6th car, the Valvoline Ford. And Mark Martin has drafting help from Tony Stewart's teammate, Bobby Labonte.
There's a couple of cars at Martinsville a couple of weeks ago, the 20 car of Stewart and the 28 of Kenny Irwin that had a few problems there, but they don't want to touch each other here, not at these speeds.
Riding along with Bobby Labonte, Circuit City roof camera looking right in front of you. The Rex colors of Mark Martin, brand new race car, not tested, not even practiced prior to coming to Talladega on Friday. Tony Stewart showing some muscle in the middle.
Bobby Hamilton goes sneaking up in the middle as well.
I guess that's the air up there in the middle, and they don't mind driving in there because it seems to have given some of them speed.
And now we see Earnhardt in 6th position, trying to get on the inside of Rusty.
Just as a point of information, none of these 170,000 fans have sat down yet. They are still on their feet. And look at Earnhardt on the bottom of the racetrack, makes a move. And Dale Earnhardt in 5 laps is 5th. Let's check in the pits with John Kernan.
Jerry, right before the race started, Earnhardt's business manager, Don Hawk, told me that he had a bet with someone that Earnhardt would be in the top 10 by lap 17. So I told him, I said, Hawk, you're going to lose that bet. He said, what do you mean? I said, Earnhardt's not going to need 17 laps to get into the top 10. And hey, look at that. He's already in the top 5.
Well, indeed, what a move. As Benny mentioned, 27th starting spot to 5th in 5 laps.
And meanwhile, our points leader, Dale Jarrett, has moved back to 34th position. Started up in the 17th position, so he's lost 17 spots. Then I would guess he's been a little bit cautious right now.
I would guess that's the case, Benny. His car seemed to be pretty good yesterday in happy hour, but I don't know. Time will tell.
You can say in happy hour, the car was not pulled up to the ground. He came in and made some adjustments on Dale Jarrett's quality care Ford, and the car came back out in the last part of happy hour and ran much, much better. But right now, he has dropped back to 34th position as we are in the early laps of the 31st running of the Winston 500. Ricky Rudd is our leader. Back in a moment. Back at Talladega Superspeedway, our pole sitter Joe Nemechek is back in the lead. Let's see how the story goes. Ricky Rudd was leading when you left a moment ago. Schrader came by and took the lead. Nemechek came by on the bottom of the racetrack, and now he's at the point of the field. It is Nemechek, teammate Sterling Marlin, the 7 car of Michael Waltrip, and Earnhardt back in 4th position with a little bit of help from behind by Kenny Irwin.
Now we see Rusty Wallace on the bottom of the racetrack with help from Tony Stewart as he tries to get by Dale Earnhardt. The bottom lane has Rusty Wallace, Tony Stewart, Wally Dallenbach, Ricky Rudd.
Michael Waltrip was very strong in the Daytona 500 this year. And that 7 car comes in here with a lot of confidence today. He feels he can win this thing.
When they crossed the line that time, Felix Sabates ought to be very proud because his engines were running 1, 2, 3.
Keith Simmons, the engine builder for Stadco, has the engine in the 42 car of Nemechek, Marlin, and of course Michael Waltrip. Looking out the back of Rusty Wallace's Ford. Being shown in 3rd position, the Home Depot colors behind him. The impressive rookie, already having won this year, Tony Stewart. Let's check in the pits with Ray Dunlap. Ray?
Well, thanks, Doc. We got a 42-car draft going on out there on the speedway because one car has lost the lead pack. That's Ed Berrier. He's reporting a vibration in the right rear. Berrier said we're going to try to stay out there and hope we can stay on the lead lap. But if they catch him and pass him, then he will come into the pits. But they're trying to stay on the lead lap.
Car number 12, Jeremy Mayfield, looks like he may be having some trouble. John Kernan?
That's exactly right. Jeremy just radioed the crew and said he had an ignition box problem. He has switched back to the A box, but I don't know if that has fixed the problem. Potentially an ignition problem for Jeremy Mayfield.
And what a tough break. He is one of our No Bull 5 contenders. The car not running up to speed. And that front pack we're talking about now with 41 cars, less than 3 seconds from Sterling Marlin, who leads it to the very last car in that pack of 41. 3 seconds for 41 cars to jam together.
Look at Michael Waltrip down there on the inside. A moment ago, we were talking about him. He was about to take the lead. Now he's coming back up a little bit. He's dropped back to about 10th position. But it doesn't take long.
And what about Kenny Irwin? What a move he's made early on. Kenny had that great run season opening Daytona 500 in the car number 28. He started 20th today. The Texaco colors for Robert Yates Racing. He moved all the way to 5th, and now he's been shuffled somewhat. He was shown back in the 8th position, but a good run early for Kenny Irwin. Check in again on Jeremy Mayfield down in his pits with John Kernan.
Jeremy told the crew that the engine just quit running, so he reached over and flipped to the backup ignition, and that started the engine back up. So they think that it was just a problem with one of the ignition boxes. So they're on the backup right now, and everything seems to be doing fine for them right now. They hope the problem is fixed.
You know who's most worried about Jeremy Mayfield's problem? How about a guy named James Anderson out of Livonia, Georgia? He's the fan that's with Mayfield, hoping to win $1 million today. comes the Intimidator, 3 wide. Budweiser colors on the inside. Dallenbach, we told you, was fastest in happy hour. Now Earnhardt getting shuffled in the middle, and now we'll go backwards.
Now they've run long enough now that the tires have a little bit of heat in them. Might not adhere quite as well to the track. That's never a big problem here because of the high banking at the Talladega Superspeedway. But the cars might not feel quite as comfortable after the tires heat up.
Now see Earnhardt is the middle, and you're right, Jerry. He is going backwards. This time by, we'll see where Earnhardt checks in. It's probably going to be about 10th or 12th. He will be back in 11th spot. And Tony Stewart going for the lead on the bottom of the racetrack with help from Michael Walker.
Riding along with Wally Dallenbach in the Budweiser Chevrolet. We mentioned that he turned laps at over 196.5 miles an hour in happy hour. Very close to that outside wall was Jeff Gordon.
And looking right in the middle of the racetrack, Jeremy Mayfield is flying through this field. Look at him as he goes right through the middle. Now the 55 car, Kenny Wallace, finding his way, but that 12 car was going someplace. We saw him at the very tail end a moment ago in 42nd spot. This time he'll go by probably about 20th. Let's check when he goes by. 23rd. And now Michael Walker. I thought he was on the inside, Ned. What happened? Now he's on the outside.
He goes everywhere. Doesn't matter. Where he sniffs a little bit of air and he can get a draft, he just goes after it.
Check out Dallenbach. He's going for the front. The Budweiser car, followed by Kenny Irwin and Rusty Wallace. And Mike Skinner.
You and Ned put it perfectly. Everybody in this field today believes they have a chance, and I believe they do.
It looks that way certainly right now.
Our taste of the race telemetry on Wally Dallenbach's Chevrolet, brought to you by Jimmy Dean, shows you the RPMs and the miles per hour.
We'll check as they go by the start-finish line. Around 194, 195 as you drop off down in the corner. We might see, I did see 196 for just a second. And just 6,800 RPMs.
And they don't lose a lot of speed in the turn. You see, they did get down to 81 miles an hour, but not like we see on a lot of other racetracks because of the high banking here. Down the inside in the 2 car.
And Mike Skinner right behind him. Michael Waltrip, the leader last time, is not the leader anymore. It's Wally Dallenbach.
Oh, and it's hard to break away from this 195-mile-per-hour action at Talladega, but we have to momentarily. What a scramble in the early laps. Wally Dallenbach, Michael Waltrip, Rusty Wallace, Sterling Marlin, and Kenny Irwin, our top 5. Back with more in a moment. Back at Talladega Superspeedway, I'm Jerry Punch, along with Ned Jarrett, Benny Parsons, Ray Dunlap, Bill Weber, and John Kernan in the pits. Live action, NASCAR, Winston Cup style, and what a scramble toward the front. Rusty Wallace has taken his Ford Taurus, the same car that led the most laps at Daytona in February, to the front, but Mike Skinner now from 26th starting position trying to make a move. He will be caught in the middle. He has enough muscle to stay there. Well, he's hanging so far.
They're absolutely 4 wide over in the middle of the corner with Bobby Hamilton up on the high side. And fortunately, they shuffle off to 3 wide in the middle. And Rusty Wallace was leading when he ran across the line. And right now, he's running 5th. Well, make that 4th.
Here's Jeff Gordon down on the inside leading a pack of cars up through there. Ricky Rudd had dropped way back, and he and Gordon have come back to the front. Now Gordon moves to the outside, trying to take the lead.
You can hear the crowd reacting to this shuffling by the world's best race car drivers at the world's fastest stock car facility. Jeff Gordon and teammate Wally Dallenbach side by side at 194 miles an hour.
And the computer gave that lap lead to Jeff Gordon. NASCAR timing and scoring says that Jeff Gordon was the leader. We see as he comes off turn 2 has a couple of car length advantage on Ricky Rudd.
Now you're wondering what may have happened to our pole sitter, front row Joe Nemechek and his Sapco teammate. Let's check in their pits with Bill Weber.
Well, the most recent update on Nemechek is that he called in about 5 laps ago and said the back end of his race car is very loose, so they're going to tighten him up. But when the 42, the 40, and the 7 were running at the front of the field, that was part of a plan. Tony Glover telling his drivers, hook up and run together. It worked for a while, and they're in line right now. So watch for that throughout the day. But remember, Nemechek's car is loose. That's not good.
Indeed, Bill, the way the draft fluctuates here. And up very high, Bobby Hamilton goes way up on the outside. Dallenbach gets shuffled in the middle of the pack, and now he will go backwards.
What happened to Wally Dallenbach? Something happened. He had to get off the throttle in turn 2. And you can see what happens when these guys back off the throttle. You lose 10 spots before the car gets his momentum built back up.
Let's show you our Super 8 Motel serial scoring on Bobby Hamilton. He has come all the way from his 23rd starting spot to 5th now at lap 22. At Kodak Chevrolet there, car number 4, trying to make a move on the high side of Ricky Rudd.
Earnhardt has worked his way back to the 4th position. This is a battle right behind Earnhardt for 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and on back. And once again, here's Jeremy Mayfield still in the middle, trying to work his way back to the front.
Ward Burton in car number 22. Kenny Irwin number 28. That 12 car lost his ignition for a moment, but he has come up through the pack.
And he's bringing Kenny Wallace, the 55 Squared E car, right along with him.
We told you that Steve Park in the Pennzoil Chevrolet was excited about his shot today. Well, he has come from far in the back of the pack. Our Super 8 serial scoring on Steve shows he's running back in 35th position. And at 23 laps, he's running 3rd.
Wow.
Well, let's update our points leader, Dale Jarrett, the Quality Care Ford cars.
Out there.
Started in 17th position. Now being shown in 27th spot. He had fallen all the way back to 34th, but now is patiently trying to pick him off one at a time and work his way back toward the top 15.
There he got picked off by Derek Coates. The 41 car, the Kodiak car, goes by Dale Jarrett. We see Elliott Souter on the outside and more cars going by. There's Bob Jeffrey as he closely watches the pack right in front of DJ. Boy, what a nerve-wracking job this has to be at this speedway. Spotty.
Yes. I did it one time for a Busch race for DJ, and I said no more. I do not want to do that again because it is nerve-wracking. First of all, the cars are a long way off from where they're at right now. Bob Jeffrey is having a hard time seeing them. And he never takes his eye off the pack. Always watching.
Look how intense he is. He cannot afford to even glance away. As you mentioned, Ned, the spotters told me this morning that the hardest part of this race course is over in turn 3, when you can't see if a car is inside or outside. You can see if he's front or behind, but not where he is in relation to the car on the racetrack.
And obviously you can't talk all the time. The driver has to do some driving, and conversation, radio traffic will distract the driver. And it takes 100% of Dale Jarrett's concentration right now. Camera inside. Then we see DJ trying to get by the 45 car. David Green did not make it.
If you just joined us, Dale Jarrett qualified 17th starting spot. Fell back to 34th and now being shown in 31st position.
And there's Mark Martin back in the 27th position last time on the outside line. Another car that's normally up front, very, very quiet here today.
Bobby Labonte's not too far up in front of him there. Bobby's always runs good here, but he's being rather patient there now as well.
I think it's coincidence and planning that all 3 guys in the points are all running together back from 25th back to about 35th.
Well, it's coincidental to a degree that they're right there, but I think that all of them are being very patient.
And pretty soon we're going to have the entire field nose to tail as Jeff Burton, the Exide car, losing position after position. Last time by, Burton was back in the 18th spot. Looks like he's going to be back about 20th right now.
And now they're beginning to get out into single file as those tires get heated up that much more, lose a little bit of the fuel weight from the back end, changing the handling characteristics of these cars, although this is not single file back in this part of the field, but we'll see more of that as time goes by.
Now, these guys need to get back in line because the front line, the front field, the front pack of cars are basically, well, I thought they were in line, but all of a sudden they're not in line anymore. But as these guys run side by side, if these front cars were to get in line, they'd just simply drive away from them.
They would, but here's Ricky Rudd and Rusty Wallace in the 2-car, trying to move back up towards the front.
Mike Skinner, the Lowe's Home Improvement Warehouse onboard camera on the inside as it comes off turn 4. Last time by, Skinner was running in 11th position. Another 3 wide at the start-finish line. Michael Waltrip up on the outside.
Michael Waltrip in the car number 7. Same car he finished 5th with the Daytona back in February. Earnhardt, the same car he won with back in April here at Talladega. Single file up front, Gordon, Tony Stewart, and Steve Park, 2 Chevrolets and a Pontiac. Now Earnhardt will make it 4 cars single file. Still in the early laps of the 31st running of the Winston 500, 3-time Winston Cup champion Jeff Gordon is showing the way. Back with more in just a moment. Back at Talladega Superspeedway, 7 cars now trying to pull away in the lead draft, led by Jeff Gordon with Tony Stewart in 2nd spot, Steve Parker's 3rd, Earnhardt now 4th. There's Ward Burton, the Caterpillar Pontiac. Strong run by Ward in 5th spot. Side by side, Sterling Marlin and Michael Waltrip. Now, we told you we have a special treat for you, our NASCAR Winston Cup Spotlight. We're going to eavesdrop a little bit on Dale Jarrett, talking with crew chief Todd Parrott and spotter Bob Jeffrey. Let's listen.
Line your in, best line as far as cars go, I believe. Looking outside of you, looking outside.
Still got that slide off the corner, Todd, with the front end. The main reason I'm taking it easy to get up here and race. Just don't know what to expect with the front end.
He's talking about off the corner. I'm sure that he's getting a little bit of bounce, and as he comes off the corner, the car will all of a sudden just change lanes on him, so he obviously does not want to be right beside another car when he does that.
Back end probably is holding a little bit tighter than he would like for it to right now, and putting the pressure on the back and making those front tires slide out a little bit.
Now, Talladega may look smooth from where we're watching here, but let's go inside. Watch Dale Jarrett just bouncing around on the seat, holding on to that steering wheel. You see the window net fluttering there with the wind coming by at 195 miles an hour. Watch him bounce in that corner. And he's turning that steering wheel and sort of rocking it a little bit, Ned.
Well, it's impossible, I think, maybe to, even with all the technology we have today, to pave a track as with the banking size this is right here, to pave it absolutely smooth. And then they run very stiff springs in these race cars on race day. They run soft springs in them in qualifying, but on race day they run very stiff springs in them, so that does cause it to bounce around.
Dale Jarrett now changing his line a little bit. He was on the bottom of the racetrack, then moved up to the top, and now moves back down to the inside.
See that yellow strip on top of the steering wheel.
Going up on the outside.
There's Bob Jeffrey, the spotter, talking to him.
All right, we're going to move back up front as we watch DJ work traffic, and there is, talking about traffic, there's Jeff Gordon trying to hold on. Tony Stewart content to ride single file. Steve Park, Sterling Marlin, side by side, Michael Waltrip, and Dale Earnhardt for position at for 5th spot.
Sterling Marlin slides in that spot. We see Michael Waltrip, Pierre Labonte trying to get something going on the bottom of the racetrack. There's a pole sitter, Joe Nemechek, right behind them.
had singled out and they pulled away a little bit, but then when somebody pulled out to make a pass, I think it was Earnhardt, then that let the field catch right back up to them.
So 91.5 miles per hour here, 36 laps into the run.
Talking about Jeff Gordon's last couple of weeks, he gained a couple of spots in the Western Cup point standings, has won 2 in a row, winning at Martinsville and then at Lowe's Motor Speedway in Charlotte. Second pack beginning to make a move with Joe Nemechek leading the way.
Well, as these guys up front, just as they race and do not stay in line, that has allowed that second pack to get close back up, and now we have 22 cars once again basically in the same pack of cars.
And for you Jeremy Mayfield fans, you got a little concerned when he had the ignition problem, had to go to a backup ignition. He has climbed his way back up in the middle of the pack. Here's the car number 12.
Was in 10th place the last time along. And there's Bobby Labonte following right along behind him. We mentioned a moment ago that Bobby seemed to be content. He was back there about 25th, 26th or something. Well, he's not as content as he was. Apparently his car is feeling good to him, so he decided, let me just try to move him up through here a little bit. John Kernan.
A couple of laps ago, Bobby radioed into his crew and he said, hey guys, you know that IRL commercial where Scott Goodyear is driving the car and singing to himself as he drives? He said, that's kind of what I'm doing right now. Just kind of driving along and singing to myself.
I wonder what kind of song he's singing now.
Maybe King of the Road. I think that's what Scott Goodyear was singing.
And I've heard Bobby sing, so don't open that microphone. Obviously having a good time here in the early laps at Talladega. Bobby's brother Terry Labonte, Kellogg Chevrolet, winner early this year at Texas, trying to hold on to a position. Bobby Hamilton down on the inside, now running side by side, but he is killing them when they're trying to catch that lead pack.
Yeah, it really is, because they're just losing time. The front car's running that last time in line. They ran 192.8 miles per hour. They picked up 1.3 miles per hour by just simply getting in line. Because as the car's behind the pass, it also slows down the front car, believe it or not.
All right, let's check in on the Michael Waltrip pitch with Bill Weber. Bill?
Well, if Bobby Labonte's singing to himself, we know what Michael Waltrip's doing. He's talking to his race car. He told us on Friday after qualifying that's what he does in these races. And so far, he's very pleased. Remember, he has Sapco power. He has a good car. Getting close to the first round of pit stops. Watch for some guys to think about taking 2, not the 7 car. They'll need to take 4 because they have a very aggressive spring and shock setup. And they got a lot of wear on their left side tires. So it'll be 4 for Michael when they stop. Watch for some guys to try 2.
Indeed, we will keep an eye on pit stops here. Pit stops coming around lap 58 to 60. In that range, maybe 55 because of the 3 pace laps. And again, track position, very, very critical at Talladega. Not so much a tire situation. Tires awfully good here. As the lead draft comes by, we talked about Michael Waltrip. Now, Michael, today in the car number 7, making his 424th career start going back to May of 1985 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. He has yet to get his first Winston Cup points-paying victory. He came close in Daytona. He led here in April in that same car. And man, a lot of people who are big Michael Waltrip fans would like to see that change today.
See Earnhardt trying to get by Michael Waltrip right now. Joe Nemechek decides to follow. The second group has basically gotten themselves together. They caught this front group. Let's talk about fuel mileage just a little bit. You know, if you can go 70 laps on a tank of fuel, I don't know that that helps you. If you're out there by yourself, if the other cars can't run with you the same amount of distance, you have to pit at Talladega, Daytona when other cars pit. You see all these cars drafting. If they were getting out of this draft and run around the racetrack by themselves, they slow down to probably 187, 188 miles per hour. So they cannot pit by themselves. There has to be other cars going in and coming out of the pits with them.
Exactly, Benny. In the garage here this morning, there were a couple of teams that could go maybe 62, 63 laps. We said, well, why? If everyone else gets on lap 58, we're foolish to stay out there and run 3 or 4 more laps by ourselves.
If they can find 3 cars that can run that fast, then fuel mileage means something. It may mean something at the very end of the race. The last pit stop could be critical.
Well, we could be about 15 laps away from that first round of pit stops. The crews are waiting and watching, as are we. After 4 live NASCAR Western Cup action from Talladega in a moment.
See Bill Elliott, the McDonald's onboard cameras. Elliott rides along in the 40th position. He's 4th position. He's only 3 3/4 seconds behind the leader, but obviously not exactly the way he would like to have his day going.
Bill started back in 38th position, a 2-time winner here at Talladega. Now, we're talking about the pit strategy. A lot of discussions, I'm sure, ongoing down on pit road. Let's check in down there with Bill Weber.
And Jerry, they began a few laps ago, but some very interesting situations right here. Steve Neal was down in the Tony Stewart pit talking to his crew and crew chief Greg Zipadelli, and right after he left, Jimmy Elledge from Kenny Wallace's team came down here and they started talking. In the meantime, Neal went next door and talked to Bobby Kennedy from Michael Waltrip's team. Obviously, you want to pit with partners, but one thing to keep in mind here, the inexperienced guys want to try and pit with guys that have done this a lot of times. And if there's been one average grade for Tony Stewart this season, it has been his pit stop routine. That's something they've worked on very hard with him. They'd like him to follow veterans on and off of pit road. We'll see what happens. A lot of deal making and a lot of deal breaking ahead.
Tony Stewart has just been content riding along behind Jeff Gordon for a while. That's a smart thing to do. He can learn a lot riding behind Jeff Gordon. Staying up there keeps him out of trouble as well.
Talking about making a pit stop. Did you see Jeff Gordon make that pit stop at Charlotte last week when he pulled out on the inside of Mike Skinner? He must have been 8 car lengths behind Skinner going in turn 3 and closed and actually pulled alongside him as they entered pit road. Made up a tremendous amount of distance just coming into the pits.
A pit stop that won in the race.
Very possibly could have won the race.
All right, the roof camera for the Lowe's Home Improvement Chevrolet for Mike Skinner. Started back in 26th position, now being shown in the sweet spot. Kenny Irwin to his right in front of him. Single file. Whoa, Earnhardt trying to go to the outside of the car he owns. That is Steve Park.
4 wide going into the turn.
Can I look yet?
I don't know. These cars, they're not handling quite as good now as they were when those tires were newer, so they have to be even more careful now than they were in the beginning.
Sterling Marlin going for the lead. Jeff Gordon has led this thing for quite a while. Tony Stewart, what did you know? He dove down between Michael Walker. Oh, what an aggressive move on Tony Stewart's part.
Just barely enough room. You got to give Tony Stewart spotter a call. He must have said clear low, and Tony went immediately to the left. No turn signal or nothing. Left will turn at 190 miles an hour, and Tony Stewart will hang on. And we have a car in the wall. A car that has come into contact with the wall.
Out, everything's clear.
Andy Hillenberg.
Wave them off. Car hit the wall coming off for them.
Andy Hillenberg in the car, number 91, has come into contact with the concrete. Doesn't seem to be that significant in the Joe Falk Chevrolet, but that will bring out caution for the first time.
Stay above the second groove.
On lap 48.
Back.
Looks like
Stay up above the second groove there, okay?
I realize that.
I'll have to translate that. It's breaking up. I can't hear it. It says stay above the second groove.
They were telling Dale Jarrett where to stay on the racetrack in case there's debris from.
Track looks clear. Come into pit road now. I'm in front of the 16, right?
In 4.
26 car, DJ. There's a car that's pitting in front of us. Yeah, I'm talking about here on the track.
all right.
Make sure pit
Pits are
road's
still
up.
closed. We'll come back for the pit stops right after this. Back from Talladega.
A full field pit stop under caution here at Talladega. Tony Stewart is on pit road. 1 pound in the right front. They warned him to stop short. Make sure you have the wheels straight. His gauges are good. They want to pull a piece of tape off the front grille. He's getting 4 tires and fuel to John Kernan.
Jeff Gordon says his car is awesome. He didn't want him to change a thing. It'll be a 4-tire change for him. Also, Sterling Marlin, the leader. 4 tires. Gordon's crew finished. Now Ray Dunlap.
4 tires and fuel for Dale Earnhardt. No changes here. They stopped him a little bit short in the pit box because they knew the 75 car would be in late. Earnhardt is down and away and back out. His one big concern is trying to get Steve Park to run with him.
Mark Martin had a problem. He had to pack up. He was actually boxed in his pits. That was some valuable time under the caution flag. But the track position, very, very important here. We saw Sterling Marlin have a great pit stop. And the car number 40 as he came out right in front of Jeff Gordon. First caution flag today. There's looking Sterling Marlin in the car number 40, the Coors Light Chevrolet Felix Sabatos-owned machine. First caution flag today brought out a moment ago by a contact with the wall for the car number 91 of Andy Hillenberg. Back with more from Talladega in a moment. Back at Talladega Super Speedway, still working the first caution flag of the day. We'll show you what happened on lap 48 to bring out the first yellow flag. Car number 91, top of your screen, Andy Hillenberg.
Comes off turn 4, and all of a sudden the car just goes up and brushes the wall. And we heard Dale Jarrett talk about the front end skating or sliding off the corner, and then I think that's what happened to Andy Hillenberg. He came off the corner and just kind of slid that right front right in the wall.
It looked that way, and DJ was running on the low side of the racetrack, and I think that's what he was afraid of, is just maybe scooting up into the wall when he came off to the corner with the car that day.
And speaking of DJ, we will listen in once again with what was their instructions going on during this caution flag between he and the spotter and Todd Parrott, the crew chief.
Okay, DJ, you'll be coming around the 26 car, okay? 5 car, he should be gone when we're done, okay? Okay, all down here, around the 26, stay out, stay out, stay out, around the 26, right over here, right over here. Wheels straight now, stay right there, straight. Go. After 23, after 23.
Very calm instructions by Todd Parrott, telling his driver who he stays with during the pit stops.
Racetrack up there, do they know that?
You know, when he came back.
I don't think they do.
When Dale Jarrett was coming
But
in.
off before, there's stuff laying in the track up in upper group.
Debris on the racetrack. So I'm sure that Todd Parrott now will relay that information to, they're giving the signal 1 lap to go.
Playing on forward, Dale said. Crash.
Let's check in with Bill Weber.
Okay, you heard and watched Dale Jarrett's pit stop. So they continue to chat on the radio. Basically, they pulled a full rubber out of the right rear tire. They went 3 rounds down on the track bar and went 1 pound down on both of the front tires on the 88 car. So they're hoping that will improve the handling of Dale Jarrett's Ford. He restarts in about the 31st position, sacrificing track position maybe for a little better handling car.
Boy, that is a major amount of changes on a pit stop at the Talladega Super Speedway.
That's huge. A rubber, air pressure, track bar adjustments.
Spencer wants you to look at his left rear and see if it's flat.
Hey, go get me a set of 20 bleed shocks for the front of this motherfucker.
Signal the lights off atop the pace car, going back to green flag in just a second.
52 laps are complete of 188. Sterling Marlin being shown as our leader. He was the first off of pit road. This being, if you just joined us, the very first pit stop of the day for the field. The caution flag brought out by the car number 91, Andy Hillenberg. Let's check in the Ricky Rudd pits with John Kernan.
A slow pit stop for Ricky Rudd. He dropped him all the way back to the 28th spot. They took on 4 tires, no changes, but they did have a problem with the right rear, so that slowed him down several seconds. One other note, the 22 car of Ward Burton and the 28 car of Kenny Irwin Jr. made contact on pit road, but the spotters have looked the cars over, and they say everything should be all right. To Ray Dunlap.
Well, John, Mark Martin had to make a big swing to get around Kenny Schrader to get into his pit box, and he had a bad angle coming in. That's why he had to back out and to get back out on pit road. They had a 15.3 second pit stop. He came in 22nd, went out 22nd.
Getting set for the restart. Start on lap 54. The caution out for the first time today for 5 laps. You see Sterling Marlin pulling away.
You might think that's an advantage, Jerry, but that is not an advantage because Jeff Gordon and Tony Stewart will get a run down the backstretch and pull Sterling Marlin and say, where did they go?
That's right. He'll be a sitting duck. He's not careful. On most any other racetrack, that would be a big advantage.
Sterling Sterling pulling all the way down to the inside. That conga line behind him. Single file down the 4,000-foot back straightaway. Takes about a lap to come up to speed. They should be coming out of turn 4 at about 170 miles an hour now. As Benny commented, here they come. They will inhale Sterling Marlin Chevrolet. About 10 car lengths back, and Jeff Gordon will take the lead.
Now Jeff Gordon, he needs to file that back in his plane. A restart with just a couple of laps to go. He said, okay, I need to be 6 car lengths behind because I'll catch him just when I get to the start-finish line.
Let's check in the pits with John Kerner. John?
Listening to you guys talk about Sterling getting that good jump at the restart was deja vu all over again, because his spotter told him, Sterling, that doesn't look too good. You got too much of a jump on them. They're going to team up in the draft, and they're going to blow right by you. And Sterling's like, yep, I know.
Mike Skinner and Dale Earnhardt, teammates down on the bottom of the racetrack. They tried to turn under Kenny Irwin, the Texaco car, so Kenny said, hey, you guys think you're so fast, I'm just going to push me along. As Terry Labonte also trying to get a push from these guys.
They are back in 10th and 11th position. Gordon, our leader. Tony Stewart in second spot. Front row, Joe Nemechek, our pole sitter, is third. Michael Waltrip fourth. Sterling Marlin been shuffled back to 5th position.
Looks like the outside line is the one that's moving best right now. But Kenny Wallace in the car number 55 is going to try to change that. He has his brother Rusty right on his back bumper to try to push him up through there.
That time by Jeff Gordon ran 193.4 miles per hour.
Irwin sneaking a peek up high. There is Bobby Hamilton. Bobby Labonte looking beneath the 2 car of Rusty Wallace. And here comes the Pennzoil Chevy of Steve Park, who made that charge from 35th to 3rd in the first 20 laps. Now another charge on the inside of Bobby Labonte.
Bobby slides up in front of Bobby Hamilton in the 4 car and gives Park room down on the inside.
There's Rich Bickle, the yellow car, right in the middle of the group. There he is, 3 wide in the middle.
He's been running that middle of the group quite a bit. He was back in the pack doing that many, but it seems to be working for him.
That time by, he was running 21st position. All right, Earnhardt's going to try his favorite spot in the middle. Couldn't get that to work.
Kenny Wallace, a square D Chevrolet, right up in front of Earnhardt. Now here comes Steve Park, and he has a strong race car. That number 1, the Pennzoil car, goes breezing by Rusty Wallace and takes Ward Burton with him.
They just make it look so easy. They just pull out and pass, but it's not quite that easy. They got to have a partner first of all to help with the wrap and get a good run.
Rusty all the way down on the edge of the racetrack, down on that yellow line, nearing the track apron, just trying to be able to possibly block some of that train going by, and Rusty is going backward. Let's take a look at Bill Everett.
Well, Rusty was loose early and then tightened up as the run went along. They decided not to make any changes, but they do know something they're not going to do next time they come to Talladega.
Low side clear, low side clear.
Rusty is very unhappy with the front shocks on his car. They can't do much about it now, but he said make sure we never run these shocks again.
They talked about in happy hour last night about changing some shocks, and looks like that Rusty did in fact change those shocks, and right now I say to myself, that was a mistake. Look, Rusty Wallace in jeopardy of losing the draft from this front group.
Rusty Wallace backsliding here in the field. 58 laps are complete. Of 188 in the Winston 500, Jeff Gordon is our leader. Jeff Gordon showing the way. Tony Stewart in second spot. Side by side for 3rd. There's the battle. Michael Waltrip and Joe Nemechek. Pair of Chevrolets. And Nemechek's car seems to be coming back. Bill Weber?
Absolutely right, Jerry. Remember, he called in, said the car's just a little loose. He took 4 tires. They added just 1 round of wedge, and he's moving back to the front. And remember, crew chief Tony Glover, not on pit road. He works as a spotter with Nemechek, makes the calls from the roof. Glover not in the pits, spotting here at Talladega.
Exactly, Jay Smith calling the action on pit road for Nemechek. Now, Dale Jarrett, we told you they made a lot of adjustments during that pit stop. They took a rubber out, made a track bar adjustment, air pressure, and obviously, guys, it's making a difference. DJ starting back toward the front now, finally.
He was 31st when he came out of the pits, and now, as you can see, he's moved up to 15th. He might be a little bit further than that when they get back to the start-finish line. He's on the back bumper of Johnny Benson there, and they're coming up towards the front.
You'll give me a nice taste now.
Those are pretty radical changes they made during that pit stop at Talladega. Normally you would make one of those 3, but not all 3 at the same pit stop.
Michael Waltrip, the Phillips car, number 7, right in the middle of the screen, was running in about 3rd position just a couple of laps ago.
3 wide, 3 wide.
Last time by, he was credited with 7th spot, but he might be even worse than that now as he tries to somehow get in line with these cars and get out of that middle groove that he just cannot run in.
I think it is more difficult to run in that middle groove now than it was at the beginning of the race, Benny. That surprised us that they were able to run that good at the beginning of the race, and I think that what we expected of that is now beginning to happen.
There's the car number 33, the Skoll Chevrolet of Kenny Schrader, right in front of Earnhardt. He's hanging tough on the other. Let's check his pitch with Ray Dunlap.
Well, Doc, before that last round of pit stops, Kenny Schrader was a good bit loose, so he called in and said, let's make a little bit of a change here. So they took 1 pound out of the right rear, and they put a ½ pound in the right front. So a pretty radical adjustment, a 1.5 pound change on the right side for the 33 team.
Kenny Schrader trying to get his first win in some 8 years. His last victory coming June of 1991 up at Dover, Delaware. Jeff Gordon on a win streak, 2 in a row, trying to make it 3 in a row here at Talladega. 35-year-old Brian Watzel, his new crew chief, unbeaten, batting 1,000 thus far in NASCAR Winston Cup competition. They want to retire now, don't they?
That's what he said after Charlotte. Said now undefeated.
Still 3 wide part of the way through that mix.
Stewart slid high down to 1 and 2. Mike Skinner down on the inside. Looks like he's in the 3rd spot. And right now we see some cars back there that are out of the draft, about 6 or 7 of them.
But they are lining up. That's Kyle Petty, that 2nd pack, lining up to catch this pack. If you look back at Michael Waltrip's Phillips Chevrolet.
There are 31 cars in the lead draft. The 31st place car is only 1.8 seconds behind the leader, Jeff Gordon. But Kyle Petty is about 5.7 seconds behind.
And all 43 cars that began the day are on the racetrack. The 91 car for you Andy Hillenburg fans that had the incident on lap 48 to bring out the first caution flag. They peeled away some sheet metal. He is back on the racetrack. So all 43 are running here at lap 66.
Dave Marks has also had a long stay on pit road. He is now 8 laps down in the real Crew Chevrolet. But as you said, you're on the racetrack. Oh, they're all lining up, trying to take their shot at Jeff Gordon. Mike Skinner right now running in 2nd spot. Tony Stewart trying to help, getting right on that back bumper.
And Tony Stewart and Mike Skinner are best of friends off the racetrack. They drive for competing hardwares, Lowe's and Home Depot, but they are best buddies. They do a lot of socializing together, so I would imagine these 2 guys will hook up and try to make a run on Jeff Gordon.
I just hope they don't do what they did here in April. Remember, they had the big crash over on the backstretch.
That took place on lap 49 back in April. The 20 and the 31 cars getting together, taking out 9 race cars. Cars 1.9 seconds apart from Gordon back to Kevin LePage. That's the lead draft.
Michael Walker pulled down on the inside of Tony Stewart, trying to take over that position, put Stewart in the middle.
Earnhardt's also in the middle. He's got Rich Bickle right behind him. He's got Tony Stewart in front of him. He might be able to go somewhere if the hole don't close up before he gets there. That's always the concern you have.
And how about that Coca-Cola roof camera on Jeff Burton's X-Side Ford? He's one of our No Bull 5 million contenders. Already won $2 million this year, winning at Charlotte and winning in the Pepsi Southern 500 at Darlington.
Chad Little goes by his Jack Roush teammate. Look at those guys go in the middle. It just seemed like they open up a big hole and they're running 2 by 2 up in front of them. They're able to go somewhere, but Rich Bickle is still in the middle. Now Mike Skinner goes with it on the outside down the one end, has it. Or doesn't.
For a moment, yeah, he's got a car link out in front of for him, or part of one. And I think he can get it now. Sterling Marlin goes up there and going to help the 31 car.
Mike Skinner has an excellent race car. Larry McReynolds knew this yesterday. Remember, they hit that hiccup in qualifying when they had a problem with the engine. They had to go second round and start outside the top 25. But McReynolds ran nearly 50 laps here in happy hour yesterday. They were thrilled with their race car when it pitted under caution a few laps ago. 4 tires, fuel, get back out there.
Mike Skinner in this car finished 4th in the Daytona 500, finished 4th in the Pepsi 400. His 106th NASCAR win streak up front got a win. He came so close at Charlotte last week. He said, I've been a perpetual bridesmaid and never a bride. But right now, the Lowe's Chevrolet for Mike Skinner is showing the way at Talladega. 70 laps are complete in the 31st running of the Winston 500. NASCAR's fastest super speedway. Back with more live action after this. Stay with us. Look at this field at Talladega Super Speedway. Side by side for 5th on back, the front 4 single file. And Cornflake showing the way. Texan Terry Labonte for the first time today. And brother Bobby Labonte hooked up nose to tail. And the front 2. Then comes the Bell South machine for Joe Nemechek and Kenny Irwin. The Texas Gold Colors back in 4th spot.
See, Dale Earnhardt has broken his GM Goodwrench Chevrolet free of this big group of cars, and he moves into 5th.
And those 5 cars have singled themselves out. They'd like to pull away, and they can't do that if those cars continue to run side by side behind them.
Now, moments ago, Buckshot Jones in the car number 30. Take a look at this frightening portion here. Up, almost in.
Steve Grissom in the car 0-1. They almost made contact.
Man, that was terrific because, you know, normally when you see these cars just wiggle at these, well, actually, you don't even see them wiggle. They lose control before we see the wiggle. That time we saw the thing sideways, and somehow Buckshot managed to save it. Man, that is a genuine mess right there coming off turn 2. Bill Weber talked about on NASCAR today at the top of the show, that 4,000-foot backstretch so silent.
It's full of thunder right now, and here's the Jimmy Dean Pontiac for Buckshot. Started in 42nd. Trying to catch his breath right now, I'm sure. What a great save a moment ago. Driving to car number 30.
These guys are about 1/3 of a lap behind the leader, Terry Labonte.
Haven't heard much throughout the weekend from Texas Terry. Qualified pretty well, started in 8th spot. 2-time winner here at Talladega in the Winston 500. Won it here in '89, also won it 2 years ago, back in 1997.
And he's got a good partner there with him, his brother Bobby, Interstate Batteries Pontiac.
These 4 cars trying to pull away slightly. Earnhardt is the 5th place car. There he is leading that second pack with Michael Waltrip, Tony Stewart. A lot of discussions ongoing between drivers and spotters, Bill Weber.
Absolutely, Jerry. Eddie Dickerson is the head chassis builder for Hendrick Motorsports and the longtime spotter for Terry Labonte, working this race today. When Terry got to the front, he said, just stay there, stay in line, the mess is behind you. If you guys stay in line, you'll run away from those guys. Then he said to Terry, 5 bonus points. I guess your car is pretty good. No response. So Terry remaining quiet even on race day.
Called Terry Labonte the Iceman. Very composed, very poised, and very quiet. Only speaks when he has to. The brothers Labonte showing the way, the 20 car. Jeff made a move by Mike Skinner. That's Tony Stewart. Now he will pull right up into the car length of Dale Earnhardt.
And Sterling Marlin goes by Skinner. Jeff Gordon back over there just a few laps ago. He's now back to the 11th position. And Jeff Burton, we saw struggling. He is now up to the 10th position in the X-Side Ford.
Well, we're about 16 laps away from the halfway point here at Talladega Superspeedway. Labonte, Nemechek, Irwin, and Earnhardt are top 5.
Oh, yeah, we got him 4 abreast. Steve Park dives to the inside, and he has help down there with Michael Waltrip. And they go on the inside. They're still 4 wide. In 3, Michael Waltrip drives down there. And so far, so good. Wow.
I'm still holding my breath.
Yeah, me too, Ned. Look, and they're still 4 abreast.
Something's got to give. The track is 48 feet wide. Here they come, still 4 abreast. And you wonder why they jammed their way to Talladega to see this. That is exactly why. All across the country, there's standing room only and lines in for tickets at NASCAR Winston Cup facilities.
Oh, we got a crash. It finally happened.
Still there. Crash in turn 1. Crash in turn 1. Be clear, backing down safely, backing down.
Johnny Benson, 1 car involved, the 36 car. Jerry Nadeau involved.
Clear, they are on the bottom of the racetrack. Watch for debris.
Lap 81. A handful of cars involved in a heavy impact entering turn 1. There's the Cheerios Ford and what's left of the front end of that for Johnny Benson. Still moving, trying to get back toward pit road.
He is driving that, believe it or not, folks, because it would have stopped long ago if Benson were not hitting the throttle and trying to get back to the front.
And Jerry Nadeau has climbed out of his car. There's still some fire beneath both those cars. There's the safety crew on the spot immediately. Jerry Nadeau, they're actually helping him put the fire out beneath the hood of his M&M's Pontiac. And here comes Johnny Benson through the grass.
Let's see as they go down in the corner. Benson's on the outside. Some contact right there as between Benson and, was that Jeremy Mayfield?
Yeah, that was Mayfield.
I believe so. That's where that 4 wide racing was going on that we were talking about.
And John Andretti, believe it or not, he's also involved. The STP Pontiac just cannot catch a break.
Derek Cope also in the car number 41. He was an innocent victim up there. You mentioned Andretti.
But there we see him making contact. Jeremy and the 9 car, I guess, of Rich Bickle.
They just simply ran out of room when they got into that corner. 4 wide at the speed that they were running. And just a little bit of a slip.
So once again, the cars involved. The 12 of Mayfield, the 9 of Rich Bickle, Nadeau in the 36, the 26 of Johnny Benson, and the 43 of John Andretti.
There, you're right, Ned. You can't. There just isn't room. There isn't room there.
It looks like Mayfield may have been moving up because the car on the bottom of the racetrack, Ned, was moving in toward him.
Yes, and they had no choice. When you go into the corner, the apex of the turn going in there, something has to give. And you know, the car that was moving up on him, whoever that might have been, didn't want to go in there with his left wheel down on the flat part of the pavement. He wanted to get up to where he had all 4 wheels on the banking, and that's what caused it.
And Kenny Wallace's defense, if he hooks that left front on the apron, he shoots right up across the racetrack in front of the whole field. So Let's go down to Bill Weber in the pits.
And another parade down pit road. Tony Stewart among the first to hit his stall. This will be a 4-tire change. They're going to go up 1 round on the track bar and an air pressure adjustment. There's the track bar adjustment. The right side tires are on. Working on the 20. Let's check on John. 2 tires for Stewart.
Bobby Labonte is in, right side tires only. Jeff Gordon also right side tires. He beats him out. Bobby had to slow down to get around Sterling Marlin to Ray Dunlap.
Well, John, there was a lot of radio discussion here between Richard Childress and Dale Earnhardt about what to do, take 2 or 4. The decision was 4. Too much debris on the racetrack. They are going to lose some track position here, but he came in second, going to lose some spots, but he's got 4 fresh tires.
Work being completed on pit road. A lot of teams now trying to get some track position by taking only 2 tires. Second pit stop for the day. You heard Ray Dunlap talking about Earnhardt taking on 4. There's Jimmy Makar. His driver took on 2 right sides only. Back at Talladega Superspeedway in the Winston 500, working caution for the second time today. A 5-car incident on lap 81 entering turn 1. Once again, the cars involved: Nadeau, Benson, Mayfield, Cope, Andretti, and Bickle.
Never see him go down in the corner, and they get 4 abreast. Kenny Wass on the inside. Jeremy Mayfield makes contact with the 9 of Rich Bickle. He also makes contact with the 36, and Jerry Nadeau has no place to go. John Andretti also drives into this thing, and there you see the car slide into a stop.
And we told you a lot of drivers worry about what they call the big one here at Talladega, the accident where they're running so close together that they have a lot of cars taken out. Back in the spring, we had a 9-car incident on lap 48. 7 of those 9 cars did not continue that day. And take a look back in October of '97, we had a 23-car incident on lap 139.
So what we're telling you, folks, this was not the big one. This was for Talladega terms, this was a minor crash.
But let's hope it was the biggest of the day.
Exactly.
Now you saw Dale Jarrett pull down. This is the wreck happened, and obviously he's getting a lot of help from Bob Jeffrey, his spotter. And he just did miss being involved. He was back in the pack when this happened, and obviously that's why spotters are so critical. Let's check in once again with our NASCAR Winston Cup Spotlight on the Quality Care team.
Got a spin here. Stay down. Stay down. Clear high if you need it. Clear high if you need it. Clear high if you need it. Caution's out.
DJ, how's your entry there?
Entry seemed to be okay.
10-4. Jason, take another pound out of the left rear. Pound out of the left rear, and you're gonna raise that track bar up a little bit more. Take some bite out. Just take some bite out.
Got 10-4.
Round out of the left rear, Brian.
All right, talking about a pound out of the left rear, talking about an air pressure adjustment and taking bite out, Ned. That's a wedge change.
Yes, it is. It's trying to take a little bit of pressure off that left rear wheel to let it turn a little bit freer going into the turn.
And both those changes tend to loosen the car up, make the car just a little bit freer. We see activity going on. This is a live shot in the Dale Jarrett pit crew as they check the wear on the tires to see how much they were wearing, how long they will run. Do they have to make a pit stop with 20, 30 laps to go, or can they run the same tires? All that information they're trying to find by measuring the depth of the tread on those tires.
And he's measuring a left front tire, and why he's doing that is because they want to know if they can make only 2 tire stops or they have to change 4, considering where they're running on the racetrack.
Exactly, and of course you notice he was going all the way across the tire too to see if it's wearing more on one side than the other.
Still under caution here at Talladega Superspeedway. Jeff Gordon being shown as our leader, 170,000 strong, enjoying exciting Winston Cup action. Back in a moment.
And I saw a brief smile from Jerry Nadeau. Tough to do. Wild ride for you. What happened?
Not really sure. I mean, I noticed there was a few guys. I think they went 4 wide, and somebody dropped it on the bottom, and somebody got into the 9 car and sent him up the racetrack, and I was behind the car that he hit, and I slowed it down good enough, but I got popped from behind, and there ain't much you can do when you get in a situation like that. I mean, I feel bad for these M&M's Pontiac team. I mean, this is a good race car. I can go racing again. It's just I feel bad for these guys. They got to work on this race car.
Yeah, you roasted some of those M&Ms out there too, didn't you?
Yeah, I tell you what, it got damn hot quick in that car, and while the car was rolling, I was actually getting out of the race car, and I got hit from behind. So luckily enough, when I got turned around, the wind took the flames the other way and kept off my leg, but I'm okay.
Okay, Jerry Nadeau says he's okay, very disappointed, to John Kernan.
Sterling Marlin just came down pit road moments ago. He was one of the cars that took on 4 tires instead of just 2 on my end of pit road. They had some lug nuts loose on the left side. He felt the vibration, came in, they tightened those lug nuts, sent him back on his way, but it dropped him way back to the 33rd spot. Bobby Labonte, who came into the pits leading, is now in the 3rd position. Had a little problem getting out of his pits because Sterling was pitted in front of him. But the big story there is Jimmy Maycar changed his mind at the last minute. They were going to take on 4 tires, but he decided not to give up track position because he anticipated the moves of some of these other teams of taking on only right side tires. So right before Bobby pulled it to the pit stall, Jimmy Maycar said no, 2 tires only to Ray Dunlap.
Well, John, it was a gamble for Elliott Sadler. They took on right side tires only, but what a move they made. Started 34th today. They were running 23rd whenever the caution came out, and right now they are currently 8th place, so they've really made a big move by taking on 2 tires only. As I told you, Earnhardt took on 4. He only lost 2 positions, but Chad Little may have been the big loser on that round of pit stops. He came in 17th place, has a problem with the transmission, tried to take 2 tires, but stalled the car, and he has dropped way back to the end, like 35th or 36th. Now let's go to Bill Weber.
With a disappointed Johnny Benson, who had worked his way close to the top 10, and then you got in the middle of this. What happened?
I'm not sure. I mean, I heard 4 wide on the radio, and I knew that couldn't be too good getting into the corners. So you can get away with that in the straightaways, just not in corners. And I don't know, somebody got squirrely, and in the minute that happens, you're going to hit somebody. And the minute it hits, it gets chain reaction. And, you know, then after that point in time, I got hit in the left rear and spun out.
Okay, Johnny Benson, he's okay, but his car certainly in a very bad shape in the NASCAR Winston Cup garage. Under caution at Talladega. We'll be right back.
At Talladega Superspeedway, perfect timing. We get set for the restart here after 2 caution flags, latest involving 6 cars.
And one reason you see the cars so high on this restart, under NASCAR Winston Cup rules, you can only pass on the right-hand side on the restart. So all these guys protecting that outside. And the car passes on the inside, NASCAR will black flag that car. So everybody has to run high, protect that outside.
That is until they get to the start-finish line. Once they get to the start-finish line, then they can make a pass, as we just saw. Was that Michael Walker dove to the inside and made a pass, but that was okay.
We are 5 laps away from the halfway point. Jeff Gordon, DuPont Chevrolet, 2 consecutive wins, trying to go for 3 in a row. Unbeaten string continuing for Brian Weitzel. Tony Stewart in 2nd spot. Tony's teammate, Bobby Labonte, back in 3rd. A pair of Joe Gibbs Pontiacs chomping away at the back of Jeff Gordon Chevy.
Just to run in single file here for the moment, which is a smart thing to do.
There goes Bobby Labonte on his inside of his teammate. Earnhardt says, okay, buddy, I'm going with you. And look at poor Tony Stewart. He has no one, I mean, no one to draft with. Maybe he can find a fly or something back there.
The bird can fly that fast.
Well, Bill Elliott's made a move. He's now in 12th position of being way at the back of the pack in 38th to 40th spot. He's made a move up toward the top 15. There's the 94 car, McDonald Ford, but now he is slipping backwards as Kyle Petty in the Hot Wheels. Pontiac goes by. Kenny Schrader, Kenny Irwin.
Kyle Petty was a benefactor of that caution because he was running about 7 or 8 seconds. He and a pack of cars running about 7 or 8 seconds behind the leader. Then he came in, apparently just took on 2 tires, and he's right up there now in 15th position.
Joe Nemechek, the Bell South Chevy, just drives right by Bill Elliott.
And taking a look back at Bill Elliott there from Nemechek's rear bumper cam.
Big space between Bill Elliott and the next car. That would be the 10 car, Ricky Rudd, outside pole sitter, back to the front. Earnhardt about to get shuffled back as Tony Stewart trying to get on some help with Jeremy Mayfield to get by Earnhardt. Jeremy gets by.
Jeremy, one of the drivers going for the $1 million bonus here. 5, one of them.
5 drivers have a chance at a $1 million bonus, and 5 selected fans cheering for their individual driver. If their driver wins, they become an instant millionaire. It's happened 3 times thus far.
Oh, boy. Well, Michael Waltrip has got himself ahead of steam.
And he's aggressive with it.
There's where the No Bull 5 drivers are running. Mayfield in 3rd, Burton. Although he's being shuffled back now as we speak.
Steve Park, Jeff Burton, Terry Labonte, Rusty Wallace, all these guys in the middle of a 3 wide. Meanwhile, back at the front, battle for the lead. Here's Bobby Labonte on the inside with help. And Jeff Gordon on the outside with help.
And he prevailed.
How about Elliott Sadler in the Citgo car? Give a call to the Wood Brothers team. Sadler right in there, tucked in behind the car number 3 of Dale Earnhardt. Look at Gordon go all the way to the top of the racetrack, down across the bottom.
We knew yesterday in happy hour he had a good race car because he practiced some of those moves. He could go anywhere he wanted to with that Chevrolet. Still working that good today.
$17 cars in that lead draft. Bobby Hamilton sliding backwards, got way up on the outside of turn 2. Had to back out and gather it back in. He's now at the very tail end of that draft. Gordon, Labonte, Mayfield, and Waltrip, along with Mike Skinner on the bottom side. Earnhardt leading the high side draft in front of Elliott Sadler and Ward Burton. There is at Talladega always a lot of spotter communications among drivers. We're going to show you in our NASCAR Winston Cup Spotlight how it works with the 88 car.
Ricky's got a pretty bad rub there on the 10 coming.
I'm right here with him right now, I'm telling you. 10-4. I'm right here with him right now, I'm telling you.
Going over to Ricky Rudd spotter. That's
side is. Dale said Ricky's got a pretty bad rub on her.
Rubbing?
Yeah, he said it's pretty bad.
Boy, the spirit of cooperation, Ned, it's very, very important because the #1 priority in all these guys' minds is safety.
Yes, it is. But the rub is not hurting his speed. About 4 laps ago, DJ and Ricky Rudd were 5.5 seconds behind the leader. When they went by this last time, they were 1 second behind.
And I mentioned Ricky Rudd has a Robert Yates engine in that tied Ford because, of course, he will be driving the 28 car for Yates next year. They're almost on the bottom of the racetrack, Benny, but they're staying together.
Trying to stay together and work their way towards the front. And I'm surprised at the rubber debris that's coming off the track. That was the bits of rubber we saw on the lens of the onboard camera on top of the Ford Quality Care roof. Well, I don't see too much there, but there aren't supposed to be too much rubber coming off on the straightaway. It's only in the corner that you're supposed to wear the tires.
Rudd got away from DJ. Ricky has a good, fast race car. He was qualified on the outside pole. That was very evident that he had a good, fast race car. And one of that rubbers haven't seen any smoke yet. And maybe it was when the tires were brand new. And sometimes you go into a corner and while they're sticking real good, the body will lean over just a little bit and you get a little bit of a rub, and then after they run a couple of laps and they don't stick quite as good, then and the air pressure builds up, well then that takes that away.
You don't get as much flex in the sidewall. Maybe that's why it starts. Very good work, Dad. Jeff Gordon showing the way. Now Skinner in second spot. Joe Nemechek is third. Kenny Irwin. Earnhardt falls back in the 5th spot. Michael Waltrip. Kenny Schrader coming back to play. And the Stoll Chevrolet. Bottom line, shuffling toward the front, 22 cars, separated by 1.87 seconds. That's how close it is from first to 22nd as we are past the halfway at Talladega. Back at Talladega Superspeedway, I'm Jerry Punch along with Ned Jarrett, Benny Parsons, Ray Dunlap, Bill Weber, and John Curtin. Hope you're enjoying our coverage of NASCAR Winston Cup action. Now, earlier we told you, we showed you in our spotlight that Dale Jarrett's spotter, Bob Jeffrey, went over to Ricky Rudd's spotter and said, hey, DJ said you've got a significant rub on that right rear tire on the car number 10. Now let's show you from the bumper cam of the car number 99 of Jeff Burton what we're talking about.
And you can see the damage there to the right rear tire where the quarter panel has been knocked in against the tire, so that's where the rub came from. But it doesn't appear to be that bad now, so maybe when the air pressure built up, as Ned talked about, the rub did go away.
Oh, what a tough break. The 25 car of Wally Dallenbach. Bill Weber was having a great run today. What's wrong?
After being fastest in happy hour, Jerry was having a good run, but they've had fluid leaking. They're going to put fluid in and crank it up, but it was leaking fluid. They saw smoke coming out on the racetrack. Wally said he couldn't hold the car anymore, so he brought it behind the wall. They're looking obviously in the engine compartment. There is a fluid leak, and they're desperately searching for that now.
That's Tony Furr, the crew chief there on the left front of your screen. That's him you heard on the radio talking to Wally Dallenbach. What a tough break for Wally. Our Budweiser race recap shows you that Jeff Gordon is our leader, has led 62 of 102 laps thus far. There have been 18 lead changes, 2 caution flags for a total of 12 laps to brought the average speed down under 160 miles per hour. Our lap leaders, Jeff Gordon, Sterling Marlin, Terry Labonte, and Wally Dallenbach, along with Mike Skinner, Bobby Labonte, Rusty Wallace, Brett Bodine, and Ken Schrader. Add Jeffrey Bodine, Michael Waltrip, Joe Nemechek, and Tony Stewart to that list. Now off the track, you saw Wally Dallenbach's car being worked on. Chad Little is going back to the garage there with a transmission problem after that last pit stop. Rich Bickle is back there as well, and Jerry Nadeau's car involved in an incident. They're working on the front end of that machine. Out of the race, Johnny Benson and Andy Hillenberg.
Says, come on, Mike, go with me. Come on, Skinner. And they just get hooked up and go right by the 28 car, Kenny Irwin.
Bobby Labonte wants to come right with them. The Interstate Batteries Pontiac sort of leaves Kenny Irwin hanging down there by himself. He does have a car right in front of him, but that's Dave Marcus, and Dave is several laps down. He moved down. You see how low he is on the racetrack on the right side of your screen.
And our Taste of the Race telemetry brought to you by Jimmy Dean shows you Mike Skinner's miles per hour coming up as he's in the draft.
Now, as he gets side by side with Earnhardt, we see the speed going down. We saw him up to 198 miles per hour. When Earnhardt pulled alongside, we saw it go all the way down to 187 miles per hour. So watch this, 191. Right side by side, 193, 194. Now, Tony Stewart is pulling up on the back bumper of Mike Skinner, so I guess that's Terry Labonte, actually. Hopefully we'll get some more speed. Yeah, here goes Earnhardt trying to take the lead from Jeff Gordon. He goes in the middle. He's on the outside. Bobby Labonte, who's he going to follow?
Wow, look at that move by Earnhardt.
And listen to this crowd as they begin to scream Earnhardt from the high side to the bottom of the racetrack to the middle of the racetrack. And look at them waving their hats as he comes by. And Earnhardt is the leader, Gordon in second spot, and Mark Martin making a move in the middle of that pack.
That's the first lap that Earnhardt has led today, isn't it?
I believe so, Benny.
He just let off the lap. I believe Earnhardt's name was on there, but meanwhile, right behind them, they've got a 3 wide, several cars 3 abreast. Now Michael Waltrip's going to make it 4 abreast. But hopefully when they get to turn 3, they'll sort out at least 3 abreast.
Yeah, they need to, because we saw what happened when they went into turn 1 for those 4 abreast. That's why they call it white knuckle weekend.
And your Winston Cup points leader, Dale Jarrett, is right in the middle of that mess. There's the 88 car just flashing by. He's now being shown all the way up in 7th position.
That's his highest position of the day.
So since that last pit stop when they made the adjustments, Todd Parrott and the crew have gotten the quality care Ford dialed in, and Jarrett beginning to make a move.
Jeff Burton, the X-side car, right behind Terry Labonte. Meanwhile, here goes Jeff Ford back by Earnhardt. He has Bobby Labonte coming with him. Joe Nemechek on the outside. Michael Waltrip are all trying to team up and put Earnhardt to the back.
Nobody willing to help Earnhardt. Here comes his teammate, Mike Skinner, now pulling up on the inside. Maybe those two can help make their way back up toward the front. There's a Circuit City bumper cam looking back at Michael Waltrip's car. That's the second and third place machine. I shouldn't say that's the 42 car of Joe Nemechek.
Back to the 8th position that time.
Trying to come back on the inside. Looks like right now the high line is the best place to be. But he can't get there.
Boy, so many cars, Benny, so equal, so close together.
Rusty Wallace, the Miller Lite onboard camera. Kenny Schrader right behind them. On the inside of him is Dale Earnhardt as Mike Skinner tries to come up and help Earnhardt.
Oh, Skinner and Schrader almost have contact. You don't hear those engine noises change very much because they keep that right foot planted on the floorboard. Drivers complain about having cramp in their right leg. They just keep it straight the whole time they're here except for pit stop.
The whole time. If they decide they need to slow the car down, they just reach over and use the brake. Never backing off the throttle. There you see down the bottom where it says brake. If you were using any brake, the red arrow would go across wide open as you go down in the corner. Now the cars behind them sometimes might have to reach up and just tap it with their left foot. Rusty Wallace up to 194 miles per hour. High speed I've seen today was Skinner. Got up to about 197, 198 when he had a good draft with Earnhardt. There we see 198, Rusty Wallace.
That's the same car. Sorry, Benny, go ahead.
The 28 to 33 car, Kenny Schrader, decided he was going to try to go inside of Rusty Wallace. Then he decided against him when he backed off the throttle because he had to squeeze him out. Rusty, you saw him immediately lose 2 spots as DJ goes into 3rd.
High side's clear.
Jeffrey telling Dale he's clear high. Dale Jarrett.
2 slow cars coming up, turn 1. 2 slow cars, turn 1. 43 to 60.
And he has a very good race car. Dale Jarrett, the current Winston Cup points leader.
Well, they'd like to get up and lead a lap and get those 5 bonus points for doing that.
Check that last lap. Jeremy Mayfield back in the 18th position, had the fastest speed that last lap by.
Dale Jarrett, the defending winner of the Winston 500, won it a year ago from 3rd starting spot. Started 17th today. Has not led a lap. They go by the 43.
Low side clear. Clear high. Good job.
Getting racy back in the pack there. John Andretti all the way down on the flat part of the racetrack, just trying to get out of the way. His car Haley from being involved in that accident.
Jeff Burton down on the inside of Earnhardt, trying to make a move. Now Earnhardt and Mark Martin will hook up in the 3 and 6 cars in the middle.
They are 4 abreast.
Car coming up to 25, let the 42 know it.
They made it through. That was Jeffrey Bodine on the very top of that 4 wide.
Now the 4 cars there trying to pull away. They're in single file with those cars racing side by side back there.
3 Chevrolets and a lone Ford in the front 4 cars as that draft begins to pull away. 112 laps are in the books. Jeff Gordon continues to be our leader. Welcome back to Talladega. Dale Jarrett is our leader.
42, 7, 5, and 28 behind.
He will get those 5 official bonus points. Now he has led a lap. Bobby Lavado's led a lap. Mark Martin has yet to lead the lap. Let's show you how DJ took the lead.
Going in turn 3. He just moves to the outside. When Jeff Gordon goes down the corner, DJ drives up on the outside. And then Joe Nemechek decided he'd go up with DJ because the outside line seems to be just a little bit faster right now because of momentum. And all the guys on the outside say, okay, we're going to follow Jarrett, and left Jeff Gordon out by himself. And Jeff Gordon has now fallen back to about the 12th position as he tries his best to work his way back to the front.
Jarrett and Nemechek the top 2. Then comes Michael Waltrip. There's the Quality Care Ford from 17th starting spot. There's a look. He finally led a lap on lap 116. Not important how early you lead or how often. It's when you lead. Ned Wright, the last few laps when he wants to be up there.
That's when you really want to be up there, but you like to get up there as quick as you can and get those 5 bonus points. But it did take a while today.
3 slow cars coming up.
Now he'll draft those 3 slow cars, try to pick up as much as he can off of them.
Potter going down to talk to another car.
Probably Tony Glover, who's spotting for Joe Nemechek.
And then discussing maybe
42 says he's content to stay there.
Okay, we got the answer right there. Says he's content to stay there. They're running some good laps now. They ran over 193 miles an hour that last time. That's some of the fastest laps we've seen the leader run recently, although they were coming up on some lap cars, and that helped them a little bit.
And I guess that these cars, all these cars can make it on just
clear low.
One more stop.
3 cars behind the 42. I don't think he's content to do anything.
I think he's probably right.
Let him know when they're looking, Bob.
Bob, that's a pretty fair assessment that the 3 car, Dale Earnhardt, if he gets a chance to lead this race, look out, he's going to lead.
Getting a run on you here.
Not a patient bone in Earnhardt's body, I would guess to say.
It looked for a moment like they might be able to single file and pull away, but they haven't been able to do it. We haven't seen anybody do it today. Most of the time at this point of the race here at Talladega, you'll see 5, 6, 7, or 8 cars that single out, get in single file, and are able to pull away from the rest of the field. But we haven't seen it today. That just shows how close these cars are.
You see Chad Little's car number 97. He's back out of the garage area after working on the transmission. We might mention that Wally Dallenbach is working on the racetrack. They replaced the power steering pump on his Budweiser Chevrolet. He is back
All
in the
still
race.
up high now. They're all still up high.
I thought that little deal worked pretty good for DJ. He might remember that when he went down the corner high and dove real low. Seemed like he got about a car length advantage on these cars.
I think that's what he was doing, was testing that situation right there, Benny, to see what it would do. You got 6 cars there, 5 cars up front there. The 6th car, Kenny Irwin, is running side by side with the lap car of Chad Little, who is 20 laps down now.
DJ, how's your car out front? Car's good out front.
Dale Jarrett's finished 3rd or better in 6 of the last 8 Winston Cup events held here, including a win in this race a year ago. There's Todd Parrott. You see left side of the screen.
I've talked to the first 4 cars behind you. They all say they won't stay in line.
Well, that's interesting that they do want to stay in line. And really, that might give them an opportunity to break away from some of those drivers that are still running side by side back there for about 8th or 9th place.
All single file.
And we thought there would be some patience there, but apparently the brothers.
On the outside of the
Labonte said no. They will shuffle Earnhardt to the inside. Terry and Bobby Labonte respectively. Dale Jarrett is in the bottom of the racetrack. Nemechek in the middle and up high. Here comes the car number 5 of Terry Labonte. So shuffling back 4th, 5th, and 6th, but Dale Jarrett remains our leader after 121 of 188 laps are complete. Back in a moment. Back at Talladega, Dale Jarrett holding on now. Terry Labonte and Bobby Labonte has shuffled their way into 2nd and 3rd place. And take a look at the 28 car. Got to give a call to Kenny Irwin on the restart. He was back about 25th spot or so, and has slowly but surely just picked them off.
And here we go for the lead change. The Labonte brothers hooked up. Terry Labonte will lead that lap. He has help from his brother. And we'll see the line go by on the inside. We saw it go by on the outside. And now it goes by on the inside. We talked about Kenny Irwin. He moves up into 3rd spot. And here comes Earnhardt.
Got a hole coming up with the 7 car. It's a big hole. 7 cars coming up to you. 7 car is clear.
Spotter telling him that as soon as the 7 car goes by, that's your hole. Indicating you can turn down and get in the draft there.
But closing up in a hurry because Mark Martin was coming up there.
Looking outside, looking outside.
And look at Jeff Gordon all alone in the DuPont Chevrolet on the bottom of the racetrack. Wow. Now that is getting hung out.
Six cars in the lead group. Earnhardt making a move up on the outside. That goes up into 3rd.
It looks like it doesn't make any difference where Dale Earnhardt starts, guys. Take a look at that. 9 top 10 finishes in 13 races, starting 26th or worse. He started 27th here today, and now he's making a charge for 2nd spot.
He's making a charge right now. Bobby Labonte is making a charge for the lead on the outside. Earnhardt is going to follow him. Now Terry Labonte is the odd man out.
Yeah, Bobby didn't mind hanging his brother down there, did he? Okay, I got to go.
He moved over to try to help his brother get a little bit of snip, but it's not going out because this outside line is going by. And poor Kenny Irwin, what happened to him? He was 3rd just a moment ago.
He's back in 10th place now. But he's still not far behind the leader.
Now, Bobby Labonte doesn't mind having his brother Terry as a dancing partner, but he'd like to have his teammate Tony Stewart. But where's Tony? What happened to the Home Depot Pontiac, Bill Weber?
Well, the car is good, but it's still a rookie driver in there. And remember, he is working on 2 tires here. But Tony lost his rhythm a little bit, lost his place in line, got shuffled out. Now he's riding around, being patient, trying to watch and learn, and hopefully will be able to climb his way back up to the front. But right now, he's at the back or near the back of that pack trying to make their way forward.
Jimmy Spencer and Kyle Petty. A couple of guys have gotten up this lead group and trying to go someplace. Meanwhile, Mike Skinner's in the middle of this 3 wide. And Skinner squeezes it right in front of Ward Burton. Meanwhile, we have Terry Labonte, Kenny Irwin, Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Spencer trying to get something going on the bottom of the racetrack. And it looks like right now that outside line gets a little bit more momentum.
There is Spencer right in front of Kenny Wallace, right behind Jeff Gordon, and he was commenting on.
Spencer hasn't been quite as strong as we thought he might be because in restricted plate races he really has been going good in the last couple of years, but now he's asserting himself a little bit more now up there in the top 15.
Coca-Cola on board with Jeff Burton, the guy going from $1 million to if he can pull it off. He's pulled it off twice this year, has won that $1 million bonus from the folks at Winston. Right now he's in 12th position.
Jeff's fan is Byron Pratt from Houston, Texas. Hoping to become a millionaire. He's looking where the Noble 5 cars are running. Mark Martin is 6th. Ward Burton back in 10th spot. Jeff Burton being shown back in the 12th position. Jeremy Mayfield is 19th, and Kevin LePage back in 22nd.
Spencer went block.
Approximately how long can we pit?
12 to 13 laps, DJ.
12 to 13 laps before the pits. And that will be the final pit stop of the day. We said now the 31 cars come down the 88 trying to figure out when they're going to pit, because you have to have help when you pit. You have to have someone else come in. You cannot be out there by yourself.
There's representatives from the Phillips team there for Michael Waltrip. They're talking over with the Lowe's crew members and the Quality Care crew members, Todd Parrott.
This is one time that you don't hold back secrets. You want to work those things out.
Want to be open and honest.
Yes.
We're going to need help to come down pit road and get back up there. Now, in the last 5 or 6 laps, it's every man for himself. But front 4 cars, single file. Bobby Labonte, one of 16 different cars that have led this race today at Talladega, Alabama. Why is NASCAR racing becoming America's #1 spectator sport? You're seeing it right here. Back with more in a moment. Back at Talladega, and remarkably, that's what happens when you get out of the draft. Sterling Marlin's car number 40 about to go a lap down. He's trying to hang on as they are still negotiating down there. There's representatives from Jeff Gordon's team. Frank Stoddard there from Jeff Burton's team talking with Todd Parrott. Pit stops have got to be coming somewhere 7, 8, 9 laps away.
Terry Labonte's crew was just down there a moment ago checking on when PJ was going to pit, and they said it's lap 141, which is about 8 laps from now. And they discussed how many tires they were going to take on. They said 4. Again, this is a time that you got to be honest, because you need that help.
Some of those guys that changed 2 tires earlier, you would think would have to change 4 this time, and some of the guys that changed 4 could get by with changing 2. Although if you have to fill the tank completely full of fuel, you just about can change 4 tires in that length of time.
Right up, it was before they went that corner, right on the back bumper of Bobby Labonte, trying to push him on in there.
Well, the best average finish in the last 10 restrictor plate races belongs to Bobby Labonte with an average finish of 6. He's also scored the most points. Guess who's second? The guy right behind him, Dale Earnhardt. Now, Terry Labonte was up there with his brother Bobby leading a moment ago, and he shuffled back to about 17th spot. And speaking of shuffling, here goes Earnhardt.
He's going to try to shuffle Bobby Labonte back. They saw that car coming up down on the inside of the racetrack. That's Brett Bodine that they were coming up on.
And Mike Skinner gets a great run, but is he going to help him any?
Clear low. Good job.
And here goes Jarrett on the inside of Earnhardt.
Had a run going into the corner and was able to pull it off.
Well, like a rocket ship down beneath Earnhardt, he makes the pass and pulls by 5 car lengths.
3-car lead on 7.
Had the help of Michael Walker, and boy, they just shot by him. That's what you can do when you get that momentum build up.
Be about 6 laps away, make it 5 laps away from what is expected to be the final pit stop of the day. Now, some cars will begin to come in the next 2 laps. Remember, it all has to do with who you made a deal with. They could make it the rest of the way from here. Their window is open as far as fuel is concerned, right, Dale?
Yes, they should be able to go, once they stop now, they should be able to go the rest of the way as far as fuel is concerned. So we have right at this point 52 laps. When they come back, it'll be 51 laps to go, and they can go that far easily.
As you come off the corner, we can see that it's not going to be Jarrett in this group of cars this time making the pit stop.
Car's still good, right? No changes?
All right, here's Kenny Schrader on pit road all alone. No one else down pit road with him in the Scholes Chevrolet, our 4th fastest qualifier. He will head down to Sammy Johns. Let's go down to Ray Dunlap.
Should be a 2-tire stop here for Kenny Schrader. Not sure why he came down by himself, but there's a lot of bargaining going down here. The 6 car talking about coming in 2 laps. Dale Earnhardt will be in soon. Right side tires on for Schrader, making sure they get all the fuel in it, and they send him away.
Benny, that's exactly what you were talking about. They had to sit there and wait for him to put the gas in. You know, a couple of extra seconds, they could have changed those left side tires.
They were talking about
here they come. I thought they were coming in the pits.
earlier, and I don't know what the location was. Or it might be pitting under green here. 18's down low.
I thought a couple of cars coming in the pits. They were just trying to pass on the apron of the racetrack.
A lot of bargaining ongoing down in the pits. Let's listen.
When y'all gonna come? Okay. Okay. 4. Okay. Robert, the 5's coming on 141. 143. You gotta get 4. Yeah, I'm gonna get 4. You know what I'm saying? 4 Frankie. These tires, man. These, you know what I'm saying? Even though they look good, it's just, you know what I'm saying? We got 4 a while ago. It's the best our car is.
Boy, Frankie Stoddard. Frank would like to be able to get 2 tires and maintain the track position. But Todd Parrott saying, I got to get 4. And he's trying to take care of his driver and also know that 4 tires does make a difference for having that 4.
Absolutely makes a difference.
Now, if Todd Parrott changes 2 tires,
Bill, the 18 will be pitting this lap.
You never want to play poker with him, I'll tell you that.
John Kernan.
Bobby Hamilton is in. He thought that he had a loose wheel after that last caution, but he didn't. It'll be a 4-tire change. He hung on to the car. He lost a little bit of ground, but here he is on pit road by himself, waiting for the left sides of the fuel to go in. He is down and away.
All right, Bobby Hamilton, the Kodak Chevrolet. We'd expect to see the leaders peeling off.
Well, I think Bobby Labonte is definitely going to peel off. He has peeled off. 18, several other cars coming. There's smoke. Somebody's blowing up coming down the front straightaway.
That is
Caution is out.
That is Terry Labonte in the car number 5.
Motor down the front straight, 5-car blue motor.
And the yellow flag is out, but there are cars on pit road.
Some of them is going to go on. Bobby Labonte is going to stop. And I think it'll be to his advantage to do that. John Kernan?
I think you're exactly right, Ned, because of the slow lap time to come back around the racetrack. Jimmy Makar made the call to go ahead and take on 4 tires to Ray Dunlap.
Dale Earnhardt did the same thing, John. He decided he might as well pit. They're already here. It's a 4-tire change right now, and they've got the gas in, plenty of gas. Earnhardt's down and away. Mark Martin and a few others stayed out there on the racetrack, and now they'll get to come down and pit.
All right, 4 cars elected to stay on pit road and make their pit stops. Now, that's very important to remember. Earnhardt, Bobby Labonte, and Ward Burton, along with a 30 car of Buckshot Jones, they're the cars that stayed on pit road and made their stops. Buckshot's a lap down, but the other 3 cars are in the lead lap, so everyone else now have to come around and make their pit stops under the caution.
Yes, they will, and that's going to put them behind those cars. That was very smart for them to stay on pit road. They had plenty of time because the leader, Dale Jarrett, had slowed down once the caution came out, and that gave them plenty of time to change those tires.
Watch these cars coming down pit road. There's Bobby Labonte and Jeremy Mayfield sliding the right front tire. And then we see about that same time Terry Labonte blows up. Now, you see Tony Stewart started to come to his pit. Everyone said, go back on the racetrack. Keep going, keep going. But Earnhardt and Bobby Labonte, Ward Burton, just like you said, they stopped. All these other cars should have stopped because they could have done all that changes. And look at the disadvantage that Dale Jarrett and Steve Park, Jeff Gordon, Michael Waltrip, the disadvantage, they would have been behind all those cars on the restart. Now, it's just whoever beats each other out of the pits right now.
Yep.
And we're hearing that Skinner may have a fuel problem, Bill.
Jerry, he came down pit road, but then he did not stop. Larry McReynolds wanted him to stop. They've had a conversation about it in very clear terms, but they are the concern that Skinner could run out of gas on this lap. McReynolds says, I think you'll be all right, but watch your fuel pressure, especially on the banking.
Wow. Well, 14 cars peeled off to come down pit road. Only 4 ended up staying. 3 of those 4 on the lead lap. Once again, they were Earnhardt, Bobby Labonte, and Ward Burton.
That was very heads-up thinking on the part of those that did go ahead and make that pit stop. Had to do it quick, and said, okay, they realized that the leader was going to slow down, and you can make a green flag pit stop here at Talladega and stay on the lead lap, even when they're running full speed. Now, you might get passed when you go back out on the racetrack because you're not up to speed, but they knew the leader was going to slow down, so, you know, they had no, it was a very, very smart call.
And now here comes Dale Jarrett, the race leader. Car number 1, Steve Park. Behind him, Michael Waltrip. Gordon Company.
Okay, right over here.
You, Bill Weber.
Wheel straight. Put on the brake.
Todd Parrott.
Right over here. Stop on the board.
He stops on the board. This will be 4 tires. This is the same car that won here a year ago and finished second here in the spring. Because Terry Labonte has fallen out, Dale Jarrett has a clear path out of his pit stall. This is 4 tires and fuel. No changes to the chassis. They went with the 4 tires because that's the best their car's been all day. From 34th to 1st, Jarrett's on his way. John.
Watch him. Outside.
Jeff Gordon waiting for the last round. Castro installs the car but fires it back up. 4 tire change, no chassis adjustments, but they did put another piece of tape on the front grille.
And now these cars will have to work traffic. Here is the car number 99. He had a problem in the pits.
He's very, very close to pit wall. Might have been too close to pit wall to get the jack under to change the left side tires.
All right, here's what happened to Jeff Burton in the X-side Ford. Let's watch, see if he actually misses his pit stall.
Boy, he's coming in real hot as Gordon slows down. John Kernan.
It's not much of a problem here at Talladega because you don't use the brakes a whole lot except when you pit, and that's where the problem was. Just a slight brake problem. The car just would not stop for Jeff.
And the front tire changer, actually the tire carrier, gets the tire knocked out of his hands. He's leaning over the pit wall there, so some anxious moments there in the X-side pits. Let's check in with Ray Dunlap.
Well, Doc, when Mark Martin came in, they had a good pit stop. They went to pull the film off the front window so that Mark will have a clearer view, and it just all fell apart, so they were not able to clean the window for him. So all these other drivers out there are going to have a much better view than Mark Martin. They did 4 tires and gas here, no chassis adjustments, but they did not pick up a lot of positions on pit road, which has been the case for this team most of the day.
Wow. Well, we are working the 3rd caution flag today, and unless we get another one, that is the last pit stop we'll see. It's going to be decided on the racetrack. Bobby Labonte is our leader. Back in a moment. Huge crowd on hand, a record-setting crowd, largest crowd ever to see a sporting event in the state of Alabama. Over 170,000. I'm told that when we come here next spring, they'll add 7,500 more seats, 16 more rows to the Tri-Oval area here at Talladega. Now, we saw that pit stop a moment ago for Jeff Burton in the car number 99. Benny, the tire carrier actually got bumped as Burton was coming in with the brakes locked.
We see the 9 car coming in. We see Mike Brill, the front tire carrier, start to go around, and Burton hits the tire. And I believe that Mike Brill is okay. See, he leans up on the wall for just a second. The NASCAR inspector goes over and says, "You okay?" And Mike says, "Okay, bring me the tire, I got to change." So he jumps on the job. Attaboy, Mike.
Attababy, Mike. He gets a tire back to Frank Stoddard. Let's check in their pits now with John Kernan.
Jerry, I just talked to Brilly. He said, yeah, I'm fine. Just a little bruise. Just put a little ice on it, but otherwise I'm okay. I think it was more, his pride was hurt more than where he landed.
All right, we told you all day we've been enjoying our NASCAR Winston Cup spotlights, eavesdropping on Dale Jarrett and his crew. Bob Jeffrey is spotter and Todd Parrott is crew chief. Let's listen again.
Awesome job getting yourself in position there, driver. The 5 car, what happened to him is all them guys checked up in front of him and knocked the oil line off there.
Almost one hell of a wreck.
18, did he get 2 or 4 there, Bobby?
I was told 4.
Well, that is teamwork. Todd Parrott excited about the opportunity for maybe this team to win a national championship. His wife Debbie at home, along with little Tyler and Chandler, watching back in Charlotte, North Carolina. And he seems so calm and relaxed and basically continues to pump up his driver. Said, good job there, driver.
You got to keep pumping them up. Benny, he mentioned that the 5 car got hit when all of those cars started into the pits there at the same time. We thought he was blowing up, but it did. It was coincidental that it happened right at that time, and somebody hit him from behind, like Todd Parrott said. Broken oil line. Bill Weber?
Exactly right. Terry was in, exactly, Ned. Terry was in the middle of that mess as they were coming to pit road. They've just refired the engine on the Kellogg Chevy. Now he shuts it back off. But he did get hit. It did knock off the oil cooler, and now they've got a lot of work to do here. They've got a new one in place. They're going to tape up the grill, tape up the left front fender, and then send Terry back out. But it's not going to be nearly the car it was. They're very disappointed.
Yeah, it has to be a disappointment. We're about to get ready to restart this race. One other point, Jimmy Spencer came out of the pits in 6th position, but he was called back into the pits, speeding down pit road, and he now is back in 24th position.
And a big break for Bobby Hamilton, who made a pit stop on lap 139. The caution came out on lap 140, kept it from going a lap down. He's being shown now in 4th position in the Kodak Chevrolet.
You see Kenny Schrader was not able to get that skull Chevrolet back up speed. We saw him make a pit stop, so he is now a lap down.
He's on the tail end of the lead lap.
That's what I meant.
He would like to stay out there and hope that while the cars are bunched up, he can see another caution.
How about Ward Burton going for the lead? He goes by Bobby Labonte. Meanwhile, here comes Rick Mast on the inside. Oh, now we see, some contact between the two cars.
Bobby Labonte looked like touched the 22 just a little bit. He had a run coming into the corner there. Still a lot of side-by-side racing.
Now the 40 and 33 are on the tail end of the lead lap. That's Marlin and Schrader, and right up in front of Ward Burton is Schrader. Burton's going to go in the middle of the racetrack. And Ward Burton, remember, one of those No Bull 5 drivers going for $1 million bonus.
Haven't heard much of him today, but he's right there now.
And has some help, some drafting help with Dale Earnhardt right behind Ward Burton and Dale Jarrett.
Bobby Labonte is your leader in the 18 car, the Interstate Batteries Pontiac. Hamilton is second, Burton is third. Here comes Michael Waltrip on the bottom of the inside of the racetrack, I should say, along with Jeff Gordon is there, Steve Park is there, and Mark Martin.
And here's Ward Burton challenging Bobby Labonte for the lead one more time. And here's Earnhardt coming up on the inside. Wow, didn't think he had room.
And the 88 car following Earnhardt, that is Dale Jarrett. He will take one of it. Boy, almost down to no man's land on the bottom of the racetrack on the apron. Now Jarrett can breathe as he has a little more room on the straightaway. Marvin saying, man, I need a caution flag. I'm hanging on here, but for dear life, that's the 40 car.
And we see Earnhardt trying to get on the inside of Sterling Marlin, and Dale Jarrett comes with him, and now Sterling Marlin will go a lap down. Jeff Gordon has moved himself back into the 4th position.
Michael Waltrip in the 7th car, the blue and white, number 7, sitting there in 3rd place.
Fans on their feet at Talladega enjoying NASCAR Winston Cup racing at its finest. That time by Earnhardt, 191.2 miles per hour.
It's dog eat dog back there.
Bobby Labonte got caught back there, and now he's side by side with Sterling Marlin and still can't get going the way he would like to.
Move back to the 8th position.
Ward Burton trying to move down on the inside of him. Here comes Michael Waltrip. He wants to make a run. Jeff Gordon coming with him.
Earnhardt is up to the outside. Now they will hang Dale Jarrett up high. Earnhardt slides back down to the bottom of the racetrack in front of Michael Waltrip. And quietly but surely, Mark Martin, that Valvoline Ford, continuing to work his way toward the front. He's now in 4th position.
You see Gordon jump all the way from the high side of the racetrack down to the low side. He thought that was going to be the way to go. Tried to go back high there. DJ was out there, couldn't do it. Don't know which is the best lane. Right now, it looks like that bottom lane is.
Joe Nemechek following very close on the back bumper of Mark Martin. The 42 car, Nemechek was our pole setter. Over 198 mile per hour average on his qualifying lap.
Now Bobby Labonte's got down on the inside, so he's picking up some positions once again.
Circuit City onboard camera with Bobby Labonte, just like Ned talked about, on the bottom of the racetrack, trying to follow Nemechek. And Michael Waltrip going for the lead up in front with help from Jeff Gordon. Michael Waltrip will lead this lap.
Michael Waltrip led this race back in April. Same car he finished 5th with at Daytona, the season opening Daytona 500. Looking for that first career Winston Cup victory. 38 laps to go. As finish here coming in May of 1994 as Bobby Hamilton now gets a little bit of help from Kenny Irwin, shuffling toward the front. Earnhardt in the middle there. With Bobby the body, they begin to go backwards. Earnhardt hangs on. So with Michael Waltrip leading the Winston 500, 38 laps remain. That's all that's left in the 31st running of this event at Talladega. It is Waltrip, Gordon, Nemechek, Jarrett, and Skinner, the top 5. Dale Jarrett, the car number 88, running in, well, he was running in 2nd position, so if you sneeze, you lose here at Talladega. DJ having a great run here.
Went up on the outside of Michael Waltrip going into turn 3. And Michael Waltrip might have a problem. He's dipped all the way down to the inside of the racetrack. I think he has a problem.
7 car obviously slowing as you take a look from high above, courtesy of the fine folks at Pennzoil. Our Pennzoil copter cam. They come sweeping off of turn 2 to that 4,000 foot back to Michael, still dropping back.
Yeah, that's not a situation of him just getting shuffled out in the draft. There's something wrong with his Chevrolet.
And there is indeed smoke from the back of Michael Waltrip's car. So, oh, what a tough break. Mikey has such a great run. And Jim Mateo and Phillips Chevrolet.
He did have a great run going and believed strongly he could win this race today, and he was certainly in position to do it.
Well, Jarrett's our leader. Mike Skinner in 2nd spot. Ward Burton, Caterpillar Pontiac, showing in 3rd. How about a couple of No Bull 5 guys in 3rd and 4th? The brothers Burton. We've seen the brothers Labonte up front. Now it's a couple of Burton brothers.
How about 3rd, 4th, and 5th? Kevin LePage has moved the TV guide forward up into the 5th position.
And Joe Nemechek looks like he's slowing a little bit.
Yeah, his car is definitely off the pace. He's out of the draft. You see no cars inside it, and Dave Marcus goes by.
Nemechek and Michael Waltrip have the same engine builder, Keith Simmons. And there's Michael Waltrip in the lead. And obviously something going wrong with the motor. He pulls the car to the left. Now watch as he comes off the corner. You'll begin to see some smoke out of the left exhaust, indicating that something internal in that engine for Michael Waltrip. There it is, just pouring out.
And it is coming out the exhaust pipe. That smoke is. And Joe Nemechek, whatever his problem was, we sort of suspected it might be an engine problem. His engine, Michael Waltrip's engines are built by Sabco, and so is Joe Nemechek's car owned by them. Hope there's not a common problem there. Now Nemechek's going back out, so apparently the engine is not gone.
Well, we heard it's a left rear tire. He might have had a tire going down, so that's certainly good news for the Bell South team. But unfortunately, that unscheduled stop
behind the 31.
will cost him a lap on the racetrack. Nemechek will go back down in 24th position, 1 lap down, right behind his teammate Sterling Marlin, who's in 23rd, a lap down. 22 cars are on the lead lap. Well, Bill Weber is caught up with Michael Waltrip. Bill?
Well, as you can tell by the crowd, you have a lot of fans down here on pit road, and we thought maybe this interview was going to be in victory lane today. Michael, what happened?
We put ourselves in a great position with this Phillips Electronics Klausner Furniture Chevrolet, but it broke, and not sure, something in the motor, driveline or something. I heard it miss going down the back stretch, and I said, surely not. And when I got to 4, it started laying down on me, but takes a lot of talent to build a car this fast. And when I've got these kind of people on my side, eventually I will get to victory lane. And we put ourselves in a position, we were leading, but there was a good chance we wasn't going to be leading before it was over. But then we might have been again, if you know it all. I don't feel like singing today. I barely feel like talking after that.
Did you think this was going to be it?
Had a lot of emotions, you know. You just, every time you run good, you just you forget about whether you've ever won or not. You just get so excited, and you just start driving with that mirror and doing the things that you've seen these guys do every week to win races. And I was doing all those things, and I know I can win, so it's not like the end of the world for me. I'm real happy with the effort by the guys. That's my main sentiment right now.
And as he coasted back to pit road, he thanked his crew on the radio for all their hard work at the shop and here at the track.
And you could hear he didn't want to be disappointed, but you could tell inside he really knew they had a shot today. How about Kevin LePage, one of the No Bull 5 drivers? You don't need a TV guide to see where he is. He is hanging on in 4th spot, or 4th and 5th.
Well, Jerry, right now he's getting shuffled big time. He's going to the back. We see he's back to 6th, 7th already. He's losing another spot to Bobby Hamilton. Now he's has his teammate Jeff Burton come up behind him, and right behind Burton is Jeff Gordon. Can they get back to the front?
And Bobby Labonte is beginning to assert himself again. He had dropped back to about 12th position. Now he's back up to 3rd in that Pontiac. Ward Burton up on the outside. He's another one of those No Bull driver running for the million. 3 of them, as a matter of fact, up on that high side there. As we have
a couple of Burtons and LePage up there. Those are the 3 cars that Deb's talking about. Bobby Labonte with Dale Earnhardt in tow, looking beneath the 31 car of Skinner. Can't make it work. Skinner cuts back in behind Dale Jarrett. 28 laps remaining at Talladega.
And Jeff Burton is extremely high off of turn 2. I think Jeff Gordon is just kind of giving up on Jeff Burton. Moved down on the bottom of the racetrack. See if he can get some help down there. Has a long way to go.
There's still 22 cars on the lead lap. Not unusual here at Talladega to have a lot of cars on the lead lap.
And Kenny Wallace puts that Square D Chevrolet right in the middle. It kind of eases the way in between the 16 car of Kevin LePage and Ward Burton. Meanwhile, Mark Martin, Jeff Gordon is just pushing him, saying, come on, Mark, let's go.
Boy, you talk about pushing.
Shuffle to 31.
The 18 car pushed Mike Skinner and got just a little bit sideways coming to the start-finish line, and the 18 is getting up on the outside of it.
18, 31 down low. Step back.
And that's not necessarily good for DJ because they're going to get a run on once they get singled out.
3-car lead on about 3-car lead.
Yeah, be careful. You don't want a real big lead. Since it's not the last lap, if it's the last lap, that'd be wonderful.
Ward Burton just ran in there wide up on the outside of the 28 car of Kenny Irwin.
Jeff Gordon down on the bottom of the racetrack trying to follow Bobby Hamilton. They'll be shuffled back somewhat. Side-by-side teammates Earnhardt and Skinner. Now Skinner comes all the way to the inside of the racetrack. Stays high behind Bobby Labonte.
Here they'll get a run on DJ coming off of turn 2 going down the backstretch. Let's see if it's enough to make a pass.
A run on you.
The spotter says he's got a run on you. Yeah, wasn't good enough to pass him at that point.
So Dale Jarrett, our points leader, continues to lead the way at Talladega. As we approach the 25 lap to go mark. Next time by, it'll be 25 to go. So it'll be Jarrett, Labonte, Skinner, Earnhardt, or Burton. That's a top 5. Back with more in a moment. Now up front, it is Dale Earnhardt who is taking the lead from Dale Jarrett.
When we went to break, DJ was leading. He got shuffled back to 5th place, and Earnhardt came up through there. We'll take a look at how that happened. Going into turn 1, Bobby Labonte just goes up on the outside. Dale Earnhardt will follow him through, and so will Ward Burton and Kenny Wallace. All go by.
Todd Parrott pleaded with Larry McReynolds, and the message was relayed to Mike Skinner. Stay with the 88 and you'll be leading. With 10 laps to go, then you guys can decide it among yourselves. We've seen these two race together here at Talladega in the past. The 88 wants the 31 to hang on his bumper till there are 10 to go. Then their race begins. Down to Ray Dunlap.
Well, Bill, Dale Earnhardt's spotter is Ty Norris, and he just came on the radio and said 25 laps to go. And Earnhardt came on and he said, did you say 5 laps to go? I better get to the front. 5 to go. Ty came back on and said, no, I said 25. He said, I know, but I still want to get to the front.
Okay. And how about pulling off the doubleheader here at Talladega? Earnhardt did it in 1990. He's the last one to do it. Darrell Waltrip did it back in 82. LDW, Buddy Baker, and Pete Hamilton back in 1970. And of course, Earnhardt, the only one to do it with a restrictor plate on his engine. That came into being back in 1988. He won here in the spring from 17th spot, and he is leading today from 27th starting spot.
Not 3 single file, double file back behind them there, but they're still keeping up.
And with 20 laps to go, Benny, we've still got 22 cars that are on the lead lap within about 2 seconds of each other.
And who's going to win this thing? It just keeps going back and forth, almost like a clock, back and forth, back and forth. You never knew who has the upper hand. Right now, Earnhardt in front. It looks like he has a good car. Dale Jarrett has a good race car. I think Bobby Labonte, Jeff Gordon, Mike Skinner. But right now, Kenny Irwin says, hey, my Texaco car is pretty doggone good too. Hey, he's trying to go on the outside of the 31 car. Skinner drives up on the outside. It looks like he's going to take that 3rd spot away.
He's got a run coming off of turn 2. Let's see where the leaders go if they drift up the racetrack and see which one it helps the most. Now DJ pulls back down to the inside, follows the 3 car, which is going to help the 31 and the 18.
Circuit City roof camera for Bobby Labonte right behind Mike Skinner, who's right behind Dale Jarrett, who's right behind the leader, Dale Earnhardt. See there to the right side, there's Kenny Irwin.
Hanging pretty tough up there on the outside, Kenny Irwin is. Remember, he finished 3rd in the Daytona 500, his best finish in NASCAR Winston Cup racing.
Get her to work with, man. We'll get back to the front here.
Well, I'm going to talk to T-Bone now.
Going to check with Mike Skinner. Spotter is Bob Jeffrey.
He said work with me. We get to the front. 10 laps to go. It's all on our own. Okay, 10-4. Okay, he's going to work with you.
Scoring at home, that's Jeffrey to T-Bone, back to Jeffrey, back to Jarrett. That's how that play went there. Is basically cooperation reigns supreme at Talladega. That is until the final 5 or 6 laps.
They said in the last 10 laps, then they're on their own. Well, they're back up there at the front. They're close to it. Dale Earnhardt's in front. But Jarrett and Skinner were 2nd and 3rd. But Kenny Irwin is working hard to try to, up on the outside there, to try to get that position right. Just can't quite muscle enough up there. He's got Jeff Gordon on his back bumper and pulling back Kenny Irwin.
How much more exciting can it get at Talladega? They are 2 and 3 wide, back for 6th, 7th, 8th, on back to about 22nd position. Back at Talladega Super Speedway a moment ago, a couple of drivers tried to tug on Superman's cape. We're talking about Dale Jarrett. They tried to hang him out to dry, and I think DJ might have showed his hand a little bit. He put that foot in that throttle for that Robert Yates motor, and he had no shot.
Well, he pulled up on the outside of Dale Earnhardt to make a pass and thought somebody would come with him. Well, let's take a look at it and listen.
Here we see him on the outside, all the cars on the inside. As he come off the corner, Jeff Gordon said, well, I think I'll help him. Well, now Bobby Labonte said, let me go up there. And Jeff Gordon said, I think I'll try to pass them all. Well, what happened was that Dale Jarrett regained the lead, and Jeff Gordon ended up in 3rd spot.
Without a doubt, a very strong race car for Dale Jarrett. Earnhardt hanging tough in 2nd spot. Gordon back there in 3rd. Great run for the Pennzoil Chevrolet for Steve Park.
Coming up on some lap traffic, moving around Brett Woodine, John Andretti, Ed Barrier, a couple more cars up in front of them.
12 laps to go. Now in 2 more laps, all this cooperation stuff's going to go away.
Exactly.
Yeah, they said the last 10 laps, you're on your own. I think they've done pretty well on their own. Anyway, no, there have been some drivers who worked together to Mike Skinner did help Dale Jarrett get back up there, and then Mike got shuffled out. Let's see, he's back in 6th position right now. He's still in it.
See him now going by the lap cars of Jimmy Spencer, Dave Marcus.
Remember, I said Jimmy Spencer came out of the pits in 6th position.
Go, be smart.
They got caught speeding on pit road, had to go to the rear, and we couldn't get a drafting car in. Here comes Gordon making a run.
Steve Park going with Jeff Gordon and his car owner. Earnhardt not getting much help from the 1 car nor the 31, who pulls down inside that car, and now Skinner will go with Bobby Labonte with a push from behind. And now Steve Park will try to help Earnhardt a little bit, but Kenny Irwin has made the move by Park.
3-car lead on the 24. 4-car lead on the 24.
Well, I said Mike Skinner was still in it. Look, he sure is. Look at there. He's coming up on the outside, trying to pass Jeff Gordon for second place. But they're coming around to get 10 laps to go.
Don't get too big a lead.
And Earnhardt pulls up on the outside of Skinner, and he goes by with help from Bobby Labonte.
You can hear Todd Carrott tells Dale Jarrett, said 10 to go, don't get too big a lead. What he doesn't want them to do is to be able to get a run like Jeff Gordon is doing right now. He's got a run going down the backstretch.
Jarrett will try to pull over, staying right in front of Gordon. Jarrett might have eased up a little bit. Here's Gordon to the inside. He'll have drafting help from Bobby Hamilton. Hamilton goes around the outside of Gordon. LePage is there to make a move. Earnhardt is there, and now once again Jarrett has a 4-car length lead.
Every time they get side by side, he's able to pull out there. He wishes that was the last lap. That's what you want done on the last lap, but not right now, not at this point. You don't want to get that big of a lead.
There's Kevin LePage. He gets a no bull participant up in about 4th spot right now. Gordon still maintains that second position.
Well, Kevin LePage driving a very smart race, being very patient here, taking his spots.
Boy, would that be something, win your first ever Winston Cup race and get $1 million at the same time?
How about that one? His 60th start for Kevin LePage of TV Guide Ford. And the Jack Roush stable. Sorry, Benny.
And he goes into 3rd spot. He's right there on the back bumper of Jeff Gordon. And Earnhardt is now back to 5th spot with Skinner and Ward Burton out on the inside. Eight laps to go after they cross the line.
It's a long time.
Less than 10 minutes, but it's going to be an eternity to these guys hanging on to the steering wheel. So talking about the final 8 laps at Talladega. Here goes Gordon. Jarrett will pull down and block the spot, and that will give an opening to Kevin LePage.
On outside the 24. Just a reminder, he's going for $1 million.
Just a reminder. And his first victory, Bob. That's also pretty critical.
And 3 wide back behind him there. Gordon and Ward Burton and Earnhardt up on the outside. Now Skinner in the middle there, and Bobby Labonte on the outside. What a finish we're headed for here.
And it's important that Dale Jarrett knows that LePage is going for $1 million now.
Oh, yes. Yeah, very definitely. Not that he'll pull over and let him win that $1 million, but he might get a little bit aggressive.
He knows that Kevin LePage will do a lot to try to get that first win, and also that $1 million jackpot for him and the fans.
And Ward Burton also back in 3rd or 4th spot. There's a fan that has Kevin LePage. Is he a little nervous? I would think so.
Gene Henson out of Asheville, Ohio, 44 years of age. Could they become a millionaire with Kevin LePage? We'll let you know.
Or Ward Burton. He's also back there in about 4th spot.
It'll be 6 laps to go when they come back this time.
Ricky Rudd, the Tide Ride, started on the front row. That Robert Yates motor. Now he's going to come up and become a factor.
Yeah, and he would like to keep his streak alive. He thought today might be one of his best chances to do that. He's won for, what, 15, 16 years in a row.
16 consecutive years for Ricky Rudd to win at least one race dating back to 1983. He is winless thus far in 1999 with just 4 more events left after today.
It looks like that Kevin LePage is going to have some help if he has any chance at all getting by Dale Jarrett. And those cars being behind him 2 wide and 3 wide is not helping at all.
No, it's not. That's what I was about to say. They're not helping him at all.
The only teammates that are hooked up back there are the 3 and 31. They were together a moment ago, but now Earnhardt pulls about 3 car lengths in front of the 31 car.
Yeah. Now they've caught back up to DJ. Earnhardt coming up on the outside. He's not through yet. 5 laps to go. I thought it was going to be a long time. Still is. There's Skinner up there behind his teammate Dale Earnhardt. Kevin LePage hung on tough there on the outside. It looked like Earnhardt had him passed there at one time. But
now if you're back past. There's Gene Henson, 44-year-old out of Asheville, Ohio. Knows that she can become a millionaire if Kevin LePage can pull it off. It'll be 4 to go this time by.
Now, a year ago, it was DJ going for the $1 million, and this same position was sitting there in the lead with Jeff Gordon and Bobby Labonte and Terry Labonte all shuffling around back there.
Well, it's nail-biting time now because if you're back about 5th on back, you've got to make your move. You need time to get there.
Here comes Earnhardt. Here comes Earnhardt on the outside. Can DJ block him? No, he can't.
He tried to. Here comes LePage. He's trying to get down on the inside, but he couldn't do it. He had to back off.
Now it's Earnhardt and Skinner and Bobby Labonte. Earnhardt, an 8-time winner at Talladega. Mike Skinner has never won a Winston Cup race. Skinner has won 2 exhibitions in Japan, but never in Winston Cup competition. What about Bobby Labonte? Could he be in the catbird seat when Earnhardt and Skinner begin to scrap here in the final 2.5 laps?
Here comes DJ. He and Bobby Labonte might get hooked up together. Bobby Labonte trying to get on the inside of Mike Skinner. Looks like he has position. He does. And DJ's going to try to go on the outside.
That was a smart thing. You see his teammate, number 28, coming up there behind him. But the 28's going very, very high.
It'll be 2 to go as they flash by 2 fingers from Jimmy Howell. Earnhardt, Bobby Labonte, Skinner. Mike Skinner said it so last week, I'm tired of being a bridesmaid. When will I get my first Winston Cup win? Here is Jarrett down on the inside. Here comes Ward Burton, one of the No Bull 5 drivers. 2 laps to go, 20 cars, 1.4 seconds apart.
Big 1 to go, white flag when they come back to the start-finish line.
Man, how do you tell somebody I finished 20th and I was a second behind the leader? Wow.
White flag, man, white flag.
Now it's all going to be settled in 2.66 miles from now. Earnhardt, Jarrett, Ward Burton is there, Rudd is there.
Somebody's awfully high down in the corner. Meanwhile, the 2 cars break out. Dale Jarrett, Dale Earnhardt. Right down there in reverse. Earnhardt is in front.
Half a lap from the conclusion of the Winston 500. The conga line. Earnhardt moves to the inside, the outside. Jarrett's got drafting help from Ward Burton. Jarrett has to make a move. Here comes Burton. Ward Burton, 2 car lengths back, a car length back. Now watch for Jarrett to try to get to the inside. Final turn, they head for the trial. Earnhardt, here comes Jarrett, here comes Burton. Earnhardt blocks the way. And Dale Earnhardt will win the Winston 500. Jarrett finishes second, Ricky Rudd third, Ward Burton fourth, and the celebration begins. From 27th starting spot, Dale Earnhardt has won his 9th event here at Talladega. Let's check in there, pitch with Bill Weber.
With crew chief Kevin Hamlin, they continue to talk to Earnhardt on the radio. And the sweet, it's a going away present for somebody. Kevin, congratulations. You had trouble in qualifying, and you came back and you won the race. The deepest anyone has ever come in this field to win at Talladega.
That was all driver right there, I'll just tell you that. You saw the opening laps of the race. Dale Earnhardt and that GM Goodwrench Service Plus Chevrolet is one tough dude at the speedways, Talladega, Daytona especially. And not bad anywhere else either, you know. But that was great. That was great.
What did you think when you saw him at the beginning of the race? Obviously, you knew yesterday your car was pretty good. He showcased it early here today.
Yeah, you know, he thought it was pretty decent yesterday. He come back and he told me last night, he says, you know, it's just not the car we had here before. He says, we need to do a little bit more to it. So all the guys worked real hard and dug deep, and we thrashed on that thing and tried to get it a little bit better for him. And all you need is a little bit for him.
Well, congratulations. I know you know the way to the victory lane, so head there now.
Been here before. Thanks.
And listen to this crowd of 170,000 plus as Earnhardt brings the Goodwrench Chevrolet down. When we come back, our McDonald's Winter Circle will talk to the 7-time Winston Cup champion. Wow, back at Talladega Super Speedway, I have seen some impressive performances over the years from that driver there, a 7-time Winston Cup champion. But today, he started in 27th spot, and on lap 5, he was running 5th. He led a total of 18 laps, and he picks up his 74th career victory, his 9th at Talladega Super Speedway. What a run for the Intimidator, 48-year-old Dale Earnhardt, as he climbs out. Let's listen to the celebration. Go down to our McDonald's Winter Circle and Bill Weber.
Well, a handshake for his crew chief, a hug from his car owner, and a kiss from his wife, Teresa, and Dale Earnhardt is in a very familiar position, victory lane here at Talladega. And a huge grin from you. Fantastic run. Congratulations.
I couldn't hardly believe it, really. A lot of cars out there really stronger than I was, and I got in front and they was racing really hard behind us, and I got to hand it to Mike Skinner. He helped me on the high side there, and I kept working with it, and I got by Jared on the outside, and I just can't believe it happened, really. And they got to racing back there, and I wish Mike could have came up there and finished second with us. He deserves to win. That race team deserves to win. It's just unbelievable how this car can win the race here, and I wouldn't give it a chance. I'd give it a second or third or fourth place finish, but I just kept trying, and it worked out for us. They got to racing behind us just like a classic Talladega, and it was mine. And then Jarrett there at the end, I thought was going to make a run on me, but he didn't seem he could muster enough.
You started 27th, Dale. Did you know that this race has never been won from further back than 24th until today?
It has now. You know, I'd seen those stats, but it's just unbelievable. Again, you know, I got to hand it to Richard and all the guys, the engine guys, everybody. They worked awful hard. GM Goodwrench Service guys, and I'd have never believed it. I never would have thought it.
Why?
I just didn't feel that competitive in the draft with them, and I couldn't pull back to the front like I wanted. I couldn't lead the laps. I couldn't do anything I wanted as I could in the spring race here. I felt more dominant, and I just never would have believed we'd have won this race. It's unbelievable, but it goes to show you if you just keep hanging in there in the draft and keep working and sort of playing chess with them and moving, and then, you know, you just outsmart them maybe.
But you were a rocket at the beginning of this race and some daring moves. Most guys don't want to be in the middle. You were passing guys in the middle.
Well, I figured I needed to get to the front closest as quick as I could. Everything worked for us, and I went right up there, and it got up there, and it got harder as it got closer to the front.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Dale Earnhardt back in victory lane at Talladega. A dramatic and daring win from the 27th starting spot.